I started racing in 1989 and went all the way through until I joined the army, really, in 1997. As silly as it sounds, I had a really good time in Afghanistan. Later on, it got a lot worse, and I lost a few good friends out there. But I nearly joined the Met, funnily enough. I had all the paperwork for the Met, and I was filling all that out, and then I've changed my mind, and then I got into the fire service. So,
what's up? Was the hours too long in the Met? Too much hard work? Is that what it was?
No beds, Bruce.
If you could pause time for an hour every day, what would you actually use it for? Pete, I've missed your questions, man.
There's no way you can do what you do in the fire service and be unaffected. We didn't really touch on it, but I was a sniper in the army. Yeah.
How did you stay quiet long enough to be a sniper?
I didn't know it was that big until I joined the army, and my first corporal come up to me. So my nickname was then Gonzo. When I come to your funeral, I'm going to tell people you touched me inappropriately when I was in your garage. Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, perfect, mate. Slight delay, but all good.
Yeah, it's annoying when you do it on this Zoom thing. It's weird. I can do Zooms with somebody in the other part of the world and there's no delay, and then you do one in Blighty and there's like a 2-second delay.
How's the lighting, mate? Is it all right?
Yeah, fine. All good.
Perfect,
Chickadee
mate.
boo.
Perfect.
There, right. You happy just to crack on?
Yeah, let's crack on, mate. Let's crack on.
Right, folks, welcome back to Bru Time. This week we've got Dave Ashpole. How you doing, pal?
I'm very well, mate. Thanks for having me on, buddy.
Absolute pleasure. Right, let's get straight into it. For anyone who doesn't know you, doesn't follow you, who are you? What you do?
So I am David Ashpole. Some of you may know me as DAsh999. That's my Instagram account. So quite a small account. It's quite personal to me and my motorbike memories. I guess most importantly, I'm a parent. So I'm a dad to Holly and Tom. Try to be their role model. Normally they're more adult than me. They do the parenting. Work-wise, so I'm an emergency service worker. I've done 18 years in the fire and rescue service, a job that I'm proud of and thoroughly enjoy. Before that, I was in the army. So I worked in the British Army as an infantry soldier in the Royal Anglian Regiment. Absolute petrol head would be one way of describing me, although I'm getting a bit of grief at the minute from Sam Vincent because I mentioned an EV. So he's absolutely hammering me.
Well deserved, David. Well deserved. Go on, Sam.
Yeah, absolute petrol head, mate. I suppose anything mechanical is what you would say I enjoy. So even if it was a Briggs & Stratton lawnmower or a Massey Ferguson tractor, you'd probably get me excited in some way, shape or form, mate.
Right, there's plenty to be cracking on with there. Do you have a tipple of choice?
I've just got myself a beer, Peroni. I'm trying to watch my weight, mate, because I feel like, as you know, I'm incapacitated at the minute. Lovely.
Yeah.
And
I'm matching
I think
you in every sense of the word.
Yeah. I feel bigger by the day, mate. And I feel like a newsreader as well, mate. So I've done my hair, changed my top because I had chili on it, and I haven't changed my shorts. I've still got a bit of chili stainage, so I won't be standing up throughout the show.
Mate, all my people go on about my t-shirts and say, "Oh, it's covered in hair. You could have changed your top." This is like straight out the wash, but I've got a bloody dog that molts with white hair. Everything is covered in white hair.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
I went to work the other week a couple of weeks ago. I went to work covered in white border collie dog hair, and my mate said, "Fucking hell, did you sleep in your car?"
Right, so where do we start then? Two wheels. When did the love of two wheels start?
Do you know what? For as long as I can remember, I've been two-wheel obsessed. Probably started when I was really young. I guess the story goes, and I can't really remember if I was into motorbikes before this point, or the reason I started chatting to this particular person is because he had a motorbike. So funny story, I grew up in a small village in Bedfordshire. And back then, as you can remember, when we were young nippers, you'd wander off and you wouldn't come home till the streetlights come on, really.
Yeah.
And I remember wandering across and seeing a guy called Ian, still speak to him now actually, and he was cleaning his 1986, it would have been 250 Kawasaki on his drive on a milk crate. That was quite a familiar motorbike stand back in the day. I think I just stood there staring, and he probably thought, what a weirdo. He probably still does, to be fair, but I just stood there staring, and eventually I was getting closer and closer across the, nearer to the edge of his drive, and he said, oh, come and have a little look at it. And my mum actually come looking for me because it got dark and I was chatting to him about motorbikes. But this particular guy actually became a family friend, and we started, he became quite instrumental, would that be the word, in me starting my motorbike racing, because I then went to watch him race, and I'd come home from school and I'd look to see if he was tinkering with his bike. And the funny story is he was actually a firefighter as well.
Oh, wow.
So whether I've just like mirrored his life or not. So because he's retired, he often messages me saying, keep on working, mate, because you're paying my pension. So we always have the little joke. And then sends me his 6% pension increase pay rises when I get nothing for working. So
mate,
we have
all
some
my
banter.
mates in the old bill that have retired, they do exactly the same thing. Obviously, I'm not in the old bill now, but yeah, get the same thing off of them.
So I guess, go on, carry on, mate.
Dude, sorry to interrupt. The hands-free kit you've got, the mic, when you turn your head, the mic's hitting, I think it's hitting the zip on your hoodie or something.
Is it? I tell you what, mate, let me try again. And if I zip it down.
And it's making like a clicky noise. Gripping throttle. Bit of advertising for Tommy's tour there. No, don't worry about it, mate. No. Crack on. Gripping throttle, folks. Lovely lad, Tommy Lindley. He started up a tour company last year, maybe 2 years ago. Cracking tours. Check him out. Sorry. So where were we? Yeah. So this chat was sort of your inspiration to get into bikes and maybe into the fire service. Yeah. So
obviously I carried on speaking to him, and all the time when he was stripping his bike down, I'd be fascinated and just watching. And then I think, from what I can remember, I then got into bikes. And I remember my mum and dad buying me a motorbike, and it was an old Tailjet 50. And he actually taught me how to ride it, because actually there's no motorcycle riders in my family. So my dad's not into. No, my dad's not into bikes. As far as I know, he probably played on some when he was a kid. But obviously, growing up doing like the schoolboy motocross stuff, he would take me, and he actually got really into it. And he actually still comes now and watches me and watches my son. So he's still plays a big part in my life, really. But got this 50cc Tailjet, and I was very fortunate because my granddad at the time was a farmer, so I had the land to play on.
Yeah.
So this chap Ian, the firefighter chap, or fireman as they were called back then, weren't they? So he taught me how to ride it, and I just picked it up from day one, really. And I was always that kid, riding your BMX bikes and making ramps. And I remember my dad saying, "Well, you can't ride your bike anymore because you've snapped the frame," because I was doing jumps so big on these wooden planks and stuff like that. And I've snapped another bike as well, haven't I, Bruce? Which we'll talk about later. But
absolutely.
So I've always just loved two wheels, and I think growing up in that era, it was sort of BMX bandits and playing around on bikes, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like when did you first? Because obviously if people don't know, you're a big motocrosser, aren't you? You compete in it. You do pretty damn well, other than when you're not falling off, obviously.
I know, bending myself backwards,
So when did that start?
I started competing it would have been 1989, with a club called Kensworth. I think it was called Kensworth and District Schoolboy Scramble Club back then. So it's called motocross now, but back in the day it used to be called Scrambled, didn't it? And the tracks there was one or two tracks you'd go to that were purpose-built tracks. You'd rock up and think, wow, look at the size of these jumps. And they're kind of all like that now, but back in the day when I started, they were some of them were just almost like farmers' fields, and we'd rock up and they'd put stakes in the ground and mark the track out, and off we went. But started racing in 1989 and went all the way through until I joined the army, really, in 1997.
So what age were you in 89 then?
I would have been about 8.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, blimey. So was this neighbour? It was Ian, did you say? Was he the inspiration to get into motocross then?
He must have been, because I did, because my parents had never mentioned it, and we'd never been to watch it, and obviously didn't know nothing about the sport. And after getting to know him and getting my own dirt bike, and obviously you're getting your toy Lego motorbike kits and stuff like that, and I still remember it now, because I was talking to my son, because my son's just got into it, and he asked the question the other day, and I remember going to watch Ian at a local track near me. It's shut down now. I believe it's probably a housing estate now, but rocking up there, and there was no, if you think back in the late 80s, there was no special effects, was there, or AI or anything like that, and rocking up at a motocross track and watching these guys leap through the air on these two-stroke motocross bikes in their day-glow, luminous pink, yellow kit, and the goggles and all the face mask. It was like the coolest thing I'd probably ever seen. And I was absolutely just captured by it. And I thought, this is like the coolest thing ever. And then obviously later on, I think I was going so fast around my granddad's farm and constantly riding that my mum and dad said, look, we can enter you into a race. And I was laughing because my son had his first race last week, but when I was racing, I fell off on every corner because it was a real muddy race, and this track was huge because it's just shut down actually. But no matter where I fell off and landed, my dad was there to pick me up, and he was like, "Off you go," and it just carried on up until the present day, really.
So how did you improve? Was it just trial and error? Right, I fell off there, I'll do something different, or do you have somebody actually mentoring you?
I did do some. So when I started racing, obviously started getting naturally better because you start to get naturally more comfortable in that environment. I started to go to. I started getting better. Sorry, and then there's like professional riders. They actually still do it now. They rent themselves out as like coaches. Mm-hmm. So people can sign up for like a motocross school, and you'd go there for a couple of days and they would teach you how to ride. It was very expensive, but just naturally through, as we would say even now, through bike time and being familiar with that environment, I think no matter what you do, if you practice it enough, you tend to get better, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously these days there's YouTube, isn't there? So people can just... You can just YouTube it, search it, and there'll be somebody in there, telling you how to corner, telling you how to, I don't know, take jumps. You can learn just about everything, can't you, on YouTube? I think we just sort of take 100%. It for granted.
My lad watches quite a few TikToks, and the professionals go through like step-by-step stuff about, it's all about, I mean, there's a lot to it, and I'm sure we'll get onto it, but it's all about like body positioning and kind of stuff like that, and how I would ride a bike now. How I still do. It's almost like you get laughed at by the younger kids, because when I grew up racing, it was like the 500cc two-stroke bikes and the 250 two-stroke bikes and like the natural type tracks, and you'd stand up for the jumps, but you'd probably spend quite a bit of time sitting down and stuff like that. But and brute force. There was no technique. You just brutally get the bike around the terrain as quick as you can. But when you watch all the athletes that are riding now, it's quite something, to be honest with you. Even I think I went to watch some semi-professional like kids recently with my son, and these kids were like 10 years old, and they were jumping higher than my house. I just could not believe it.
Sheesh. Bloody hell. Is that your dog that's barking?
Yeah. Can you hear it? Yeah.
Yeah.
One of many, mate. One of many.
How many you got?
4.
Bloody
4
hell.
border collies.
Wow. 4. Are they the ones that you and your missus go running with? I see you on Instagram running.
Yeah. You probably. Well, I haven't been running lately, mate. Yeah. So Becky, my partner, she does dog agility, all the craft stuff. So she's a professional dog trainer. So kind of, I guess, as she would say, you've got to stay relevant, haven't you? So if your dog's getting old and starting to obviously not do as well in the shows, when you kind of sell yourself as being a professional dog trainer in that world, I pretend I listen, but I don't really. But in that world, they would say, if you were trying to sell your tickets, say, come and train with Becky, there'd be someone saying, well, she's not winning a lot at the minute. Do you know what I mean? So I think she's when the dogs get to a certain age, she kind of retires them. But I know people say, I bet they're really hard work. To be fair, she's always taking one or two of them to work with her. They get thoroughly, as you can see on the Instagram, when we go running, they get worn out quickly. So when they've actually been worn out, they're actually tolerable in the house. But I tell you what, in the winter when it's raining, they love it, mate. Yeah. But I tell you what, in the winter when it's raining, they don't get out. Oh my God, you know about it.
Quick one before we crack on, folks. If you're riding and not using Calimoto, then you're genuinely missing out. I've been using it since about 2018 now, and it's what I use to plot all my motorcycle routes, from the backcountry twisties right through to fast sweepers. Calimoto does it all with ease. Now, if you're new to Calimoto and you sign up via their website at calimoto.com, you can grab some decent discounts by using the following codes. TeapotOne 10 off gets you 10% off a yearly subscription, and TeapotOne 30-day gives you a 30-day free trial. This is the important bit though, pay attention. Make sure you sign up via the website, calimoto.com, not the iOS App Store, because if you sign up through Apple, your account gets locked to iOS platforms only. Doing it via the website means you can use it on Apple and Android. Links and codes are in the description down below. Let's crack on. Right, so let's chat about the current situation. What happened? How come you're all crook?
So I'm all crook at the minute. For those of you that don't know, I have done my anterior cruciate ligament. So I've done an ACL injury, which is actually at my age, as I say, at my age, at the grand old age of 45, I would probably say it's not advisable to rupture your ACL. I've got zero sympathy from anyone who races motocross. They've just gone, oh, you've only just done that and you've been racing 25 years. Don't worry about it. But obviously, as you know, I'm a firefighter by trade and I've got to pass fitness tests, and I actually do rely on my legs and my knees a little bit. So I am slightly worried, Bruce. I won't lie, to kind of how quick I might or might not get back to work at the minute, because it's so basically I've ruptured my ACL and I've done a meniscus tear. So it's quite a weird injury, because it doesn't really hurt, but I can't bend my knee properly. There's only I can't fully straighten my leg, can't fully bend my leg, and I've got to have keyhole surgery to free up my meniscus is what I've got to do, which is quite a common thing. I think he said you'll probably walk out better than you've walked in, but the reason you can't straighten my leg at the minute is because of the meniscus tear. And then annoyingly, he said to me they won't look at doing ACL reconstruction because of my age, and potentially will, but I might need it in the future. But when you read between the lines, mate, it's all down to cost, isn't it, with the NHS?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's a long old injury, that, isn't it? The recovery takes forever with your ligaments and stuff. Yeah.
I imagine it's quite common in the old rugby game as well, really.
Aye. Yeah. Well, that's way behind me, that. I've not played. Yeah. God, I haven't played in...
Well, the physiotherapist I've been seeing, she's been brilliant, actually. She does a lot for Bedford Blues Rugby Club. Mm-hmm. And she said, look, I'll be honest with you, I've got rugby players without an ACL playing rugby. So there's you can get there without the surgery. But the weird thing about the injury, she was saying, is it's like a bit of an unknown. So your ceiling might be good enough to do your job, or it might not be. And it's just a case of doing all the physiotherapy, doing all the exercises, probably hitting the gym and stuff in the next 3 or 4 months to kind of see how much strength I can get back in the knee.
Yeah.
But the annoying thing was, when I seen the knee specialist the other day, I was telling Sam Vincent we're having a good old giggle. He said, if you've got $4,500, I can do it next Thursday. I said to the doctor, I said to the doctor, I can't get my car booked in for a service as quick as that. And money talks, doesn't it, at the end of the day? So if you want to set up a GoFundMe
absolutely.
For my knee, I'll be very grateful, and I can get back to work and get back to racing.
Yeah, no problems, no worries. I did my knee just before Christmas. I dropped the bike. I was out in the Canaries and just dropped the bike on a wet road, and I was going around a left-hander, and the bike came down on top of the inside of my left knee, so smashed my knee into the road. And it nipped a bit, and it swelled right up for that week. But it's never like it's still not right now, and that was just before
Yeah.
Christmas. And I've been to the hospital, had them, they've x-rayed it, and they've like done ultrasound scans. So they said it's not ligament damage, it's not ACL, it's nothing like that. My meniscus is all fine. They just said I had a couple of large hematomas all around the knee. And that was it. It was just sort of left at that. Well, that's unfair. I was told to come back to have a chat with the physio to see what we were going to do. But when I went back the following week, I couldn't park at the bloody hospital. Like I was driving around for 40 odd minutes and there was just no parking. So I was like, I'm done with this. I'm just done with this. So it's my own fault. I never went back. But it's annoying because it's just numb. It's pins and needles all the time, all around. So there's obviously some sort of nerve or something in it. It's just bloody annoying.
You have to get it re-looked at, Bruce.
Nah, I won't. I should do, but I won't. Yeah, I'll leave it.
Typical man.
Yeah. Exactly. I've got another knee, that'll do. So your line of work then with the knee injury, a saving grace there is at least, you're still getting paid for just now, aren't you? At least. Obviously,
100%.
Being a fireman, you've got another job, or at least one more job. So that's the real money on it.
Yeah, I used to. So, yeah, 100%. Do you know what? I feel very fortunate, actually, that my boss, my immediate boss, I'm sure that we're just a number deep down, as you know, working for the police. I've had this conversation with, funny enough, Mark from Leeds has been great. He's been phoning me. But I said, my immediate boss has been like, stop panicking. You're getting paid. Get into a box set was his exact words, and just get yourself right, because he used to play rugby. So I've done that. I've done both of them injuries to my knee. I've smashed myself silly, and you've got to be right. Otherwise, you're just going to be plagued with problems.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I said, so I was racing, going back to how I did the injury, I was racing it would have been about 4 weeks ago now. I was in a motocross race, and I was in a really good position, actually. I wasn't riding ragged. I wasn't out of, tired and all over the shop, and I come over a jumped probably about 10, 12 foot in the air, but I must have just jumped a bit further than I normally do. And when I landed into like a section of ruts. And it didn't even look dramatic, because my son and my mum and dad all see it, and I just dabbed my foot down to stop myself falling. And I remember my leg getting ripped back with such force, it actually pulled my hand off the handlebar. And I remember thinking, the pain was a 10 straight away. And I knew I'd done my knee instantly, and slowed off, as you do with the adrenaline when you're racing. And a couple of riders went past, and I thought to myself, I can't even get off the track here, and I can't walk, so I've done my knee in, so I'll try and carry on. The next part of the track was fairly flat, and I thought, do you know what? I'll see if I can salvage a result. And off I went with the adrenaline. I come to another jump and probably jumped about 10 foot again. And when I landed, my knee completely buckled. Give way completely, and I just thought, I've effed my knee up good and proper, so I just ran straight into the pits. Past the marshal, who screamed, "You can't ride in the pits!" And I just thought, I don't care, mate, you can ban me, because I ain't going to be riding anytime soon. Went in, parked my bike next to my van, and I was blocked in, so I had to stay there all day anyway and watch the racing. I put a knee brace on, and I put duct tape on it, wrapped a load of duct tape around my knee to give it some support. I actually got home that night, unloaded the van and the motorbike, and me and my partner Becky, we went to Wagamama's for some food. And I was supposed to be going on a grip and throttle tour on the Wednesday to Ireland.
Yeah.
So I messaged this physiotherapy lady that I know, saying, "Oh, Mia, can I come and see you? I've done it again, because she see me after my last motorbike crash. I think I've trashed my knee, and I'm going to Ireland on my bike on Wednesday. Don't really want to go and sit down A&E. Can I come and see you Monday morning?" So she said, "Yeah, pop down." But obviously in the night, like you said, Bruce, it swelled up. Yeah. And my alarm went off, and I literally could not weight bear. I went down the stairs on my bum, hopped to my van, obviously drove. It's automatic, but I managed to drive myself to the lady to see the physio, and I hopped into her surgery, and she said, "Oh my God, that's worse than you've made out." And I said, I said to her, "I'm just sort of like crapping my pants that I've done my ACL." And she said, "I hate to say it, I imagine you have."
You have.
"And when's Ireland?" I said, "Wednesday." She went, "You ain't going." So bless Tommy Lindley, he tried everything. Going back to Tommy Lindley, grip and throttle, he tried everything to sort of say, "Well, I'll try and sell you space. I'll see, if I carried your luggage, would you manage your bike?" And it's not just me I'm putting in jeopardy, it's everyone else on the tour. And I just said, when you just know, and I was like, "Mate, I can't go."
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that was it. I like you. I paid for my own MRI as well, so I tried to get a lot of my doctor, and that was a nightmare. And they said you might have to wait a month to get an MRI, believe it or not, because it's not unless you go and sit down A&E and you keep hassling them. And then my physiotherapist lady, Mia, she phoned me back up and said I can get you one on Thursday, and you'd have the results the next day. So I went and done that. And like you said, Bruce, I got a parking ticket. I got a parking ticket come through for. And all I'd done, I actually went in on crutches, and I said to the lady, and she was on the phone at the time, I said, I've just parked there. Am I in the right spot? It's not very clear. She said, no, lovey. She said, you better pull it forward, otherwise you might get a ticket. So she let me out the fire escape. Off I went on the crutches, moved the van forward, and she said, and that was it. And I vaguely remember when I walked out, she said to another person who was checking in, I need your vehicle registration number. But yeah, I got a ticket come through, and I tried to... put the disputed it, and then they just said no. And then I phoned up the surgery place. And I said, look, I'm a bit annoyed because I've got a parking ticket. And she said, oh, well, that's a clinical error on an admin error on our behalf, and they actually rectified it and it all got sorted. But that's how I done the injury, being silly, thinking I'm 20 years old.
So, are you enjoying the podcast? If you are, please let everyone you know about it. Sharing at the moment is the biggest trigger for the algorithm. Obviously, you need to like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. But if you can just tell one mate about the podcast, share it across to them, that helps tenfold. I love doing the podcast. I'm really trying to grow it this year, and you can help me out by doing that. So I'll love you forever if you do. Whilst I'm on the topic of support, folks, the only reason I can do the podcast and the YouTube channel and everything like that full time is because of my Patreon. In the clan itself, we do meetups, we do live streams. You'll get early access to the vids. You get first choice on the questions on this podcast. And you'll also get exclusive early access to my chicken strips tours when they're released. If you want to check it out, head to patreon.com/TeapotOne. And if there's anything there that takes your fancy, feel free to support me over on there. Right, okay, let's get back on track then. So, career-wise.
Career-wise, yep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me, mate?
Yeah, career-wise. Did you go... Yeah, I can hear you. Did you go straight into the mob then? Did you go straight into the army, or what did you do first before then?
No, well, I left school 16 with no qualifications really. Never enjoyed school, and I worked for a building company then? Actually. Just I was going for all the art. Why don't I enjoy school?
So there seems to be a heck of a delay on this.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So my signal was pretty good though. It's full signal. I never really enjoyed school really. I had lots of good friends at school, and I just guessed I kind of knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to join the army from a young age, probably about 12 or 13, really. Right. And I was just that typical ADHD, bipolar, slightly dyslexic kid that never really enjoyed school. Mm-hmm. I used to like woodwork and probably PE a little bit, but yeah, it's funny because my partner said to me the other day, sort of changing the subject, we're having a dog walk, and she said to me, if you could change anything, what would you change in your life? And do you know what? I said to her, I feel really fortunate because I don't even know if I would really change anything. I said, because the one thing that stuck out is I would have tried harder at school. Because obviously, as you go through life and obviously in the fire service doing like managerial courses and stuff like that, there's always that level of the academic side of it that I've always probably found more difficult than the hands-on or physical side. But then I sort of sat there and thought, but I don't even know if I would change that because I didn't have a terrible time at school. I enjoyed school, and I probably joined the army because of how I was at school. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But I mean, so like, if you had stuck in at school, oh, sorry, mate. Apologies. There's this delay.
Yeah. Sorry, if I'd stuck in it, yeah. No, if I'd got way better GCSE results and I'd been offered something at college or a better apprenticeship or something, would I have took it? And if I'd taken it, would I be where I am now? So I guess
exactly.
I loved my time in the mob. that pushed me towards wanting to be maybe a career in uniform. Really, I quite like knowing what I am when it comes to like rules and procedures. I'm not like a stiffler for rules, but I quite like. There's no black and white. I quite like a bit of discipline. Really, probably keeps us all on the straight and narrow. So. Really, I thought, I don't know if going back to that, I thought, I don't even know if I would change anything, really. I'm quite happy with how I've turned out and what I've done and what I hopefully do in the future, really.
Yeah, that question comes up a lot in this podcast. Like, if you could do life again, what would you change? And I'm the same as you. Well, in fact, most people give the same answer. It's like, well, your life is what molds you to be the person you are now, isn't it? And no doubt, hard times are going to come again, aren't they? And they'll mold you into a different person you are now. Yeah, it's life, isn't it? It's just life.
So I worked for this building company when I left school. Well, I got on really well with the guys. I was a hard worker, and he said to me, "Look, if the army don't work out, I'll give you an apprenticeship in bricklaying or carpentry or whatever you want, really." And I always remember thinking, well, I wonder, some of my mates that are very sort of good bricklayers and builders, they've done well for themselves financially as well. They've had their hard times, and I've often thought, I wonder if I'd done that, would I be better off financially, or would I not have had to have two jobs or something like that? I don't really know, but no, not really, because I love my time in the army, and the army kind of pushed me towards wanting to join the fire service, and obviously that's where I am now, really. So love it.
So you joined Royal Anglicans, is that right?
Yeah, Royal Anglian Regiment. The Poachers would be the 2nd Battalion of the Royal Anglian Regiment. So in the army, I don't know if most people, you may not know, but if you join like an infantry regiment back in like World War II, World War I, they were the home county regiments. So an infantry regiment would have a cap badge, whether it's like the Royal Anglian Regiment or the Royal Regiment of Fusiliers or something like that, but they would recruit from the home counties, if that makes sense. So the Royal Anglian Regiment they always recruit their soldiers from Bedfordshire, Hertfordshire, Northamptonshire, Lincolnshire, Norwich and Norfolk, kind of around that area. So if you sort of went to the careers office and said, I want to join the infantry and stuff like that, you would kind of, unless you were joining something specific, like the parachute regiment, you would end up going to one of them home county regiments, really. I was going to join the Royal Artillery originally. So I signed up to join the Royal Artillery to be a AS-90 gunner, which is like a mechanised, so on tracks, howitzer gun. I didn't want to be walking around anywhere. And the Royal Anglian Regiment were doing their like home parade, their recruitment days in Bedford. And I said to one of the sergeants, when I went to have a look at the sort of tanks and stuff, I said, I'm joining the army. I'm hoping to start in sort of September. And he said, what are you joining, lad? And I told him, and he was like, you don't want to do that, follow me. And he marched me to the careers office, and they changed me to the Royal Anglian Regiment.
He poached you.
But what I've realised since, Brucey, is they used to do a thing, even when I was in the Royal Anglian Regiment, they'd done a thing called the recruit card. And if you got someone to join and they handed the recruit card with your like little number on it, they got 200 quid.
That's right. Yep. Which is weird, because I remember I almost joined the army when I came to London in 2000 to join the Met, but there was such a massive recruiting drive then that, it was 2 years before I got in. So I was like a year and a half, and I still hadn't heard anything. I was still on hold, waiting. I'd done all the tests and passed them. I was just waiting for a date to start at Hendon. And I just got really hacked off. So I was in London one day, and I was on the Strand, and there was the army recruiting office in the Strand. I just went in. I told them the situation and said, I want to join the infantry. I wanted to be a grunt. I was totally naive. I was like, I'll go in. I want to go in at the bottom level, and I'll work my way up. I didn't realise that, if you weren't commissioned, you wouldn't make officer, really. It's not going to happen. Like, you'd be
very
sergeant,
yeah,
that's it. Yeah. And they kept saying, you got a degree, you want to go in as an officer. And I'm like, no, I don't want to go in as an officer. I want to go in, as a soldier and work my way up. Just didn't get it. So the bloke basically said to me, do me a favour, go outside and give the Met a call, tell him where you are, and just give him one more chance. So he did me a favour, really. I went out, phoned up the Met, and she said, I'll call you back in 10 minutes. 5 minutes later, she called back and said, right, 10th of June, how does that sound? And I was like, oh, perfect. Okay, thanks. But I often wonder, like, if that hadn't happened and I had joined, I had signed up, God, how would life have been? 2002, you're going straight out, aren't you?
You would have been, yeah. So I'd been in a couple of years by then. Yeah, I weren't far off coming. I think I left in 2005. So, 2002. I was trying to think when the Twin Towers were, because that was about
2001.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that changed everything, really, with the deployments and stuff. Sort of went through the roof since then. But I nearly joined the Met, funnily enough. I had all the paperwork for the Met, and I was filling all that out, and then obviously changed my mind, and then I got into the fire service, so...
What's up? Was the hours too long in the Met? Too much hard work? Is that what it was?
No beds, Bruce.
That's right. You're not allowed to sleep. Yeah.
It'd come up eventually, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. So, in the army, you did tours in Ireland, didn't you? Before, was it Afghan you went to, or Iraq?
Yeah, I went to Afghan. Yeah, I went there the same time as Iraq, really, because it's both operations kind of almost overlap. So I joined in 1997, and that period of time, as you know, there wasn't that much going on in the army really, other than Northern Ireland, and that had calmed right down. But I'd done about, I'm trying to think, I think nearly 4 tours of Northern Ireland quite quickly. So when I first joined, I went to Cyprus. I was really lucky. My first posting was in Decalia Garrison in Cyprus, which is just outside Larnaca. Lovely place. I went there. I'd never been abroad ever. I think I'd only ever been to Great Yarmouth or somewhere like that with my mum and dad, or Cornwall in the back of the old Ford Cortina.
Yeah.
And I just remember, passing out, and they said, well done, you're going to sunny Cyprus. And I went out there at like 16 and a half years old, and my daughter's just about to turn 18. I could not imagine just waving her off at an airport and saying, off you go. Went
it's
to
nuts, isn't it? When you have kids and they get... So when you have kids and they get to that age where you remember being independent, leaving home and moving on, you look at them at that age and just think, you're a child. You're just a child. But obviously, at the time, you felt like a grown man, didn't you? You were an adult.
And I think I always remember growing up. When I grew up, I'm sure you probably didn't, but I never see my dad cry or anything like that. And then when I was leaving to go to Cyprus, he looked like he was welling up, actually. So I imagine it was quite hard for him to do. But I always thinking, he didn't seem that too bothered, really. But I never played up or anything at home. They weren't happy to get rid of me.
I think my dad was just masking those tears, the way he was skipping and dancing up the street.
Yeah, definitely.
Shut the door right in my face before I even turned round.
Definitely. But went to Cyprus, and I was over there for 2 years. So I was there from 98 till 2000.
Yeah.
And when I was in Cyprus, I went to the Falkland Islands. Weirdly, that's just typical of the British Army, isn't it? So you're in a real hot climate, and what we'll do is we'll send you over to the Falkland Islands for 6 months. Yeah. There's no like climatisation, just off you go. Get off the plane and freeze your nuts off. But went out there for about 4 months it was, and then come back, and then I got based in Wales, just outside Brecon, actually. And then from there, the role of our regiment was like Northern Ireland Standby Battalion, which meant every time, I was trying to think earlier, the Orange Parade, the old riots. Every time which was nearly every year, it would always kick off, wouldn't it, with the old riots? So we were riot trained. So we ended up going out there all the time to sort of bolster the infantry battalions that were there at the time. And then a bit later on, we sort of done a standby battalion, ended up going out there for like because the British Army do six month tours.
Aye.
So you do 3 months, normally get like 2 or 3 weeks off, another 3 months. I'm sure they still do, but the American Army, they actually do a year. a 12-month deployment. And when we was in Afghan, just jumping forward to that, the American Army were getting a bit pissy, actually, with the British Army saying they wanted us to do 12-month tours because for the, continuity. And it's like, mate, I couldn't imagine being out there. It's not good for your home life. So, yeah, Northern Ireland, and that was weird, really, because it's almost for me back then. I guess I never really understood the role. You can laugh and joke, but you're just a young soldier and you're living by the fly of your pants, seat of your pants, and off you go and go where you get told, really. And just patrolling the street with like a machine gun, really. And it just looked like a normal English street, and your builders, window cleaners working over there, and Mrs. Miggins is walking down the high street with her spar bags and doing her shopping. So it's quite a surreal experience. Yeah, because we'd get the intelligence reports of kind of what was going on. So when you'd be reading them, thinking it's really weird because all this is going on, but that's going on in the background. Yeah, and I wonder if they know it's going on. So, it was growing up fast and quite interesting, really.
Yeah, I bet it's interesting with the whole Irish scene because I remember it being on the TV growing up, and it was just a constant, wasn't it? Growing up in the 80s and 90s, the Brits having a military presence over in the streets of Ireland and Northern Ireland, it was just a constant. It was always on the news. It was just there, and it was interesting, like growing up and moving into the old Bill, and then meeting guys like you who'd served over there in the military, but then also meeting people who'd grown up in Ireland and Northern Ireland and now come over and join the Met over here, and you would get those people round the canteen table chatting about back in those days as a civvy and the other people's days as a soldier. It was interesting to get the different perspectives from them.
Yeah, definitely, because I think when you speak to even like colleagues at work or friends, and they say, I've had a really good stag do in Belfast or somewhere like that.
Yeah.
I'm still like, why would you go there for a stag do? And they're like,
it's brilliant night out. Yeah, Belfast, mega for a night out.
I mean, I know the Grip and Throttle tour was like Southern Ireland, but I was really looking forward to going back over there because I haven't been over there since, and it's definitely something I want to do because they have all the wall paintings, don't they? All the memorials on all the street corners and stuff like that. And it'd be lovely to go back and probably see it, like you say, from a different perspective, really.
Yeah. We've got clan meet over there beginning of July. We've got the clan meet over we're based in Northern Ireland. I think is it Coleraine we're based at? Can't remember. We're based in Northern Ireland anyway, and then kind of nip over into Ireland for one of the day's rides. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Delay it about a year, mate, so my banana leg's better. We can
we'll no doubt go back for sure. So after that, after Ireland, it was Afghan.
Yep, so Afghan was 2003, so very, very early on in the conflict. It was actually just prior to Op Herrick, so it was Joint Task Force. So what happened was the Iraq War was on at the time, and I think the Americans went into Afghan. I don't know all my facts. I think the Americans went into Afghan and overthrow the Taliban after the Twin Towers, and then they set up the Joint Coalition Task Force, which was the British, Canadian, Americans, most European states actually. And then we went over there, and at the time we were doing like patrolling for patrolling the streets of Kabul, looking for any signs of like the Taliban and stuff like that. And obviously some of the guys were going out in the helicopters and looking for we're looking for Bin Laden at the time, because if you remember he was sort of missing for a long period of time. But I had quite a spot of luck, really. So when I went over there, after about 2 months, I was tasked with training the Afghan army. So they got about 15 of us that were like what we call weapon handling instructors. So I'd done my weapon handling course, and I'd had some additional training on like Russian weapons, because that's kind of what the Afghan army were using at the time, sort of Russian weapon systems and stuff like that. Yeah. And then Yeah, AK-47s, how to strip and assemble them, how to like adjust the sight so obviously they can actually hit a target and stuff like that, and obviously like handheld mortars, stuff like that really. And obviously then we went out and trained the Afghan army, but that was hilarious because basically it was just us trying to train them in Western tactics using interpreters. So we'd just talk to the interpreter, they'd say it back. I had no idea if they said it right, and then we just went from there. But that was really, really enjoyable actually. But and just watching them work, it was just kind of I was looking at my little puppy, just kind of hilarious really, because just watching them work was just so funny. Like we were doing a thing, you know, when we teach them how to do like fire and maneuver. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. You'd have like,
I was firearms in the police.
Yeah, of course you have. I forgot. Yeah.
So you're doing that. Covering, moving, all that.
Yeah. So we're doing that. And in the army, what you would do is you'd have like your Charlie fire team and your Alpha fire team, and you're kind of moving forward, aren't you? And at all times, you're putting fire down. And what you would do is you'd have a thing over the radio, you would say switch fire. But what the enemy wouldn't know is you've switched fire to a target that's probably not, there's no enemy soldiers. So the machine guns are now not sort of landing on them. They're kind of going somewhere else, really. Because obviously, if you were to leave the gunfire going in, you'd get blue on blue. You'd take your own guys out. And they were just running across, and we were shouting, "No, you've got to switch fire." And they were like just shooting their own guys up. And sometimes you'd get one or two bullets coming, and they would just stand up and go, like the A-team, you know, machine gun and everything, but almost so left to right, it almost, left to right, it almost take you as well. And then you grab hold of them and scream, "No, what the F are you shooting at?" And they go, "Don't know, I ain't seen nothing." You're like, "Well, what are you doing?" So it was catchy. When I look back at it now, I loved it because it's just so comical, really. But they were brave guys, though, so brave. And I'd say that about, obviously, like the Taliban and that, so to speak. When you think about it, they didn't have Apache gunships above them and stuff like that, and they were still happy to take you on a daily basis.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And they still held pretty much the most powerful combined military in the world that day, didn't they? It's
mental. Brucey, can I just pause while I grab my puppy?
Done for centuries.
Yes,
of course.
Mate. Can I just pause while I grab my puppy, mate? 2 secs.
No problem.
Sorry about that,
we're
mate.
Back. No worries. Is he all right?
Yeah, mate. He's playing with one of his toys, which was an old milk bottle, and it was making a right racket.
Cool. Right, so Afghan, I don't want to drag things up from that, mate. So after Afghan, what made you leave?
So in the army at the time, I believe it still is now, actually, you had to put a year's notice in to leave. Yeah. So my year's notice actually was already in at the time. As silly as it sounds, I had a really good time in Afghanistan. It wasn't as kinetic would be the word we use. Wasn't as kinetic as it kind of is. Later on, it got a lot worse, and I lost a few good friends out there. But it sounds silly, you know, like we always talk about. You've heard it before, where you say like, a bit like you in the firearms. If you train for something, you want to do it, don't you? Mm-hmm. So to getting the chance to do it in Afghan, and weirdly in Afghanistan, we call it the military bullshit kind of stopped, because you're doing your job, and you're doing it well. So like you roll your sleeves up, and it's got to be 4 fingers width and that sort of thing. That kind of went out the window, and it was really enjoyable for that aspect. And I always remember thinking, laying there sometimes, looking at the beautiful stars in obviously the clear skies you would have over there, thinking, now, am I doing the right thing by leaving? I've had a really good time, and some of my mates, we've had a great crack and stuff. But you definitely think the grass is greener. But obviously then when I got back to the UK, like the what we'd call the army camp bullshit kind of comes straight back. And I just thought, you know what? And I was wise to it. And at that time, and it's still the same now, you kind of, once you've been in the military for about 5 years, if you leave and just say you didn't get on very well, you know, a year later you could go to the careers office and say, look, I'm soldier so-and-so with your military number. I was in this regiment. I hate life on Civvy Street or whatever. I want to go back. You wouldn't go and redo all the basic training. they would probably say, "Oh, what regiment were you in? Do you want to go back to that regiment?" Yeah, they're currently based at so and so. So what we can do, we'll send you for a medical and a fitness test, and as long as you pass that, you can go back to your regiment. Nice. And you'd go back there, and I'd shake your hand and say, "Welcome back," and we're going to do some familiarisation training for the next month, and then you're sort of back on the run, so to speak. So I kind of knew I could do that, really. So I just thought, mate, I'm out of here. I'm going to leave. And at the time as well, my old commanding officer, so he'd be like the head of the regiment. Funnily enough, he was like ex-SAS. He'd done a bit of stuff with them. I think he's just passed away recently, actually. So if he has, God rest his soul. And he, at the time, he had quite a hard line. So they had a bit of a thing in the army, right? If you said you were leaving, they would give you something to make you stay. Mm. So you'd be like one of the lads who would say, "Oh, I'm leaving the army," and then come back and say, "Oh, I'm not going now. They've given me 2 years at the careers office in my hometown." You're like, "Oh, okay." He come in actually and said, "If you're leaving, bye-de-bye." Because what I'm doing is I'll offer the stuff to the people that are going. So I put my year's notice in, and on just about 3 days before you're literally going to walk out of the regiment, you'd go through the commanding officer and he'd give you a certificate and shake your hand and all that sort of stuff. Oh. And I'd already got a job lined up, and it wasn't the fire service, it was a lorry driving job. And I walked in there and he said, "Right, you're actually going to leave, are you?" Well, yeah, I sort of packed my room up, everything. I've handed all my uniform back in. And he said, "Well, I think you're making a mistake. You're a good lad, blah, blah, blah." And got his little book out and started going, "Well, how do you fancy going to Bassingbourne Barracks as a..." And I was like, "I'll be honest with you, I've made plans to leave now. My girlfriend thinks I'm leaving." And he was like, "Okay, well, you know the regiment's here if you want to come back." So, and I never looked back, mate.
Mm. So you left, what, you were driving lorries? How did the fire service? I left
with a dream to join the fire service. Okay. And probably didn't realise quite how hard it was, but they weren't recruiting at the time. So I knew I had to wait anyway, but I think, so when you speak to firefighters and they say, "Oh, but back when I joined sort of 18 years ago, it was definitely way more ex-military people joining the fire and rescue service, and like the police as well. It was kind of the way to go, wasn't it? And if you spoke to any sort of serving firefighter, if you knocked on your local fire station, "Yeah, good old boy, ex-army, yeah, definitely, you want to get yourself in here, mate. We love people like you." Mm. That doesn't tell the true story to obviously then going through the recruitment rigmarole of obviously passing all the written exams and the fitness, the medicals and the interviews. And that could be like 500 people. Back then it was a really sought after job. So that could have been, we're going to interview 400 people for 15 places. And I guess you just got lucky really if you got in. Because I know some really good lads that would have been brilliant in the job. They never made it through. But yes, I did a short period of lorry driving before I got in, really.
So, like, what? I remember you said it was that the old boy Ian, wasn't it? That
Ian, yeah.
Was he? He was Trumpton,
he's a fireman.
He was
he was Trumpton. Yeah.
What was it? What was it about the fire service then that appealed?
I guess I probably like danger. In a controlled way. So I guess
climbing trees to get cats, that sort of stuff. Yeah,
I've got about a 3-1 record for saving the cats, mate. I can tell you that story because I'm sure the cat lady won't be watching Bru Time, but
you never know the reach of Bru Time.
You never know, mate. But she didn't seem too bothered because she was going on holiday. But I never saved that one. But my mate said to me once, an old fireman, it was a funny story. He said, "Why are we going to another pissing cat rescue?" He said, "You don't see cat skeletons in trees."
It's very true, isn't it?
Yeah,
very true.
They always get themselves down. But yeah, so Ian was a fireman, and obviously the dirt biking, and I mean, just like the police. If you remember back in the day in the fire service and the police and stuff, they had the like the bars, didn't they?
Yeah, gosh, before my time, but
when it was really the job was really family friendly. Back in the days, lot of camaraderie. And I remember they used to do firework nights at the fire station, like all sorts, all for the kids. And I went to the fire station where I was actually serving for nearly 20 years, or 15, 16 years. That's where he was based, and it was really great because I was based there. And then he come to see me on a like an open day, so I think he was quite proud. But
is this Ian?
Ian, yeah. So he left Bedfordshire and went down to Portsmouth, and he served his last bit of time out in Hampshire. But he actually retired from the job early from PTSD. Yeah, but yeah, he's a good lad. He's still got his motorbikes now, so I always take the piss out of him and say he's still got a Yamaha LC 350, and I say, and he's got. I think he said he's generally got about 6 or 7 houses. I think he's rented out over time. He's always been a bit savvy with his money, and I always say to him when we talk about, he laughs and takes the piss out of my appalling pension. I always say, well, you better leave me your RD 350, and you better leave me at least one house. So I actually said to him the other day, he said he was cracking up. I said to him, if you don't leave me a house or an RD, when I come to your funeral, I'm going to tell people you touched me inappropriately when I was in your garage. And he was like, oh, you bastard, you won't do that. I said, yeah, I'll say you groomed me.
You said there about your pensions. Have they dicked about with your pensions like they did with your bills?
Yeah, massively, mate. Yeah, massively, yeah. And do you know what? That was always an annoying thing. Because obviously, quite controversial to some people, I'm sure. But I've been on strike a few times, and you lose lots of money, and it's never nice because it's not something you want to do. And what the public don't always see, and I've said this to someone without going on a tangent, is when we had our pension talks, I think they went on for like 5 years. The talks go on for like 5. Yeah, we don't want to. It's not like we're going to go on strike next week. Sod it. It went on for like 5 years, and I think what they had kind of done with ours, they'd messed about making our medical, like a medical exam, a lot harder. What we're going to do, we're going to make your fitness test a lot harder. We're going to make it so that reality of it is, you have to have a heart monitor on and all these things. Kind of. So the Fire Brigade Union were like, okay, well, that seems quite excessive, because in the military, as you get older, your fitness tests criteria changes. Yeah,
of course.
In the fire service, it's the same fitness test at 18 as it is at 60.
Really?
Yeah, they won't change it because I'm just saying, well, it's the job.
What's your fitness test? Because in the police, they changed it all and it just became the beep test. So and that was age dependent.
Yeah, so it's not age dependent. Some services do the bleep test, which was level 9-6. So I think it's a bit harder than the police. Over 20 metres, not 15.
Do you know what the police is?
Is it 5.5 or
5.5, 15 metres? It's basically a slow jog.
I've changed it now to like I call it like a treadmill test. So it's about 12 minutes long. It doesn't sound hard, but it's harder than it looks, and the percentage goes up.
Yeah. Yeah, my wife has to do that one because her knees are knackered. Yeah,
but they do a thing called Fireground. Yeah, they just got that. Sorry, mate. Mark from Leeds says banana leg. I said a banana's got more strength in it, mate, than my knee. But they do a thing called the functional Fireground test, and that's quite hard. And it was like and that's what I'd have to do to go back with my knee, which is why I'm a little bit worried, because I've got drag a sort of 70 kg casualty. I've got to run out lengths of hose, climb a ladder with your breathing apparatus on, like your cylinder at the back. Yeah. Run like 500 meters, drag that, pull that, lift that. It's called a Fireground functional test, and it's actually harder than the other test, but they make you do it after an injury to highlight. It's not to catch you out. It's to highlight that you might need some more additional training and stay off longer. So that's what I'd have to pass to go back. So I told my physiotherapist that the other day, and she actually looked at it and went, "Oh, okay." And I'm like, bit concerned, but yeah, and it's not age dependent. So going back to that, the pension thing, I think the union were like, "Well, hang on a minute, you can't make us work to 60. I know it's still young compared to what potentially we could be doing in the future, but." It's gone from 50 to 60, 30-year career to a 40-year career.
Same in the police, yeah.
And that fitness test doesn't change And the medical evidence backed the fact that actually probably 4 or 5 out of 10 wouldn't get to the 60 because of like the fitness criteria, because of like your blood. You could be on the old test going and they say, stop there, your heartbeat's too high. Done.
Really?
Like, yeah. So
that's ridiculous.
So that caused a lot of upset. And I think, and what they kind of done, they just, rather than sort of saying, well, and actually there's not that many firefighters that are full-time in the UK really compared to some professions. So they could have actually just said, right, you lot, you're staying on that pension and all the new lads are going to be on this one. And it would have saved so much problems. But what they done...
It makes sense to have done it that way, isn't it?
Yeah, they actually got... I think they actually got some money out of the government for age discrimination, because what they done is they just drew a line in the sand and said, right, if you're born between this time, you're on the new pension, and if you're on that one, you stay on the old one. So just say that me and you had joined at the same time, Brucey. We're 25 years in, we've got 5 years left to go. All of a sudden, because I'm 2 days younger than you, I've got to work 10 more years, and you get to go.
And, the way it should be, David. It's the way it should be. Pay my pension.
And actually, and how the pension changed, right? You'd have to pay into that for 10 more years and actually get less than what you would have done. And all the guys were going, well, hang on a minute, how's that work out? And they were like, well, if you pull out the pension, you have to wait till national retirement age. So, cut a long story short, mate, it's still a good pension in comparison, but we pay a lot into it. I think I pay about 16% of my wages into it now.
People don't realise that. They forget all this. And the fact that, you know, when you're working for a government organisation like the fire brigade, the police, nurses, all that sort of stuff, there's no way out of paying your dues, you know, paying your tax. The tax and the deductions I used to get on my police pay was astronomical. Like two months of my police pay deductions is basically my year tax bill now that I'm self-employed.
Yeah. So
it's insane.
So I used to have a little part-time job. I used to do paint and decorating, and I knew a guy, and it wasn't all cash. He'd done my books for me. And he said, right, mate, I need to do your books this year. He said, drop off all your receipts and all that sort of stuff. And he said, I need 3 or 4 months pay slips. Your P60, is it P45? No, P60, P6.
No, P60 is your tax, yeah.
That's it. And he said to me, effing hell, mate, how much tax do you pay? Because he was a builder, but he's a qualified accountant. And he obviously done what everyone else done. But I was like, oh, yeah, I know, mate, there's no getting away with that. But I've just moved over to the training department, actually, and like January, February, March, I thought, there's not a lot going on. We had new recruits in, so there's quite a bit of overtime. And I was doing like 70 hours a week. I was absolutely caning it, the hours, to the point that I nearly had exhaustion, actually. I didn't feel very well, but because I was going into all the hot fires and stuff. And Becky, my partner, she was saying, you need to slow down. And I said, I just want to get some money behind me for this, you know, for the grip and throttle tour in Ireland. And my lad's doing the dirt biking now, so that was costing me a fortune. And I said, and then, but when I did, I think it was January. I think I honestly had about 2 days off the whole of January. And when I opened the pay slip, like you said, I was like, oh my God, I'm not doing that.
Because you hit the 40% tax bracket, and then you end up being worse off than you were before. It's nuts. I used to do the same, because I used to take time off to go and do my tours, you know, when I was still in the old bill. So I basically worked every single day. Every 10 days, you had to have, I think it was 12 hours between shifts. So you would just, you know, I basically worked every day almost, and then took annual to go and do the tours. But like the pay, the deductions was just insane. It's ridiculous. I look back on it now and just think, fuck, what did I get for that? Absolutely hee-haw. You know, all that money paying in tax, and look at the state of the bloody place. Anyway, let's not get political. Okay. How do you fancy tackling some questions from people? There's loads that I could chat about. Right.
Yeah, let's do it, mate. We'll just say it. Let it flow. And I haven't looked at the questions, actually. So Mark from Leeds, I was chatting to him earlier. He phoned me up and he said, Mark, by the way, Mark from Leeds, good friend of mine. He's been great, actually, to be fair, because I've obviously been off with my leg.
Get your nose out his arse. He's a horrible little cretin.
He is. He's a fucking pest. But
he's a good boy.
He is, and he's been phoning me every day, bless him. Only because he don't really do any work. he don't work, does he? Doesn't really do a lot, does he, Mark?
He just, he plays with kids every day, doesn't he?
Exactly, yeah. I said, I nearly said Jimmy Savile's favourite job that'd be, wouldn't it? But he
now then.
Yeah, now then. Well, he's had plenty of them jokes, I bet, hasn't he, on Mark, bless him. Anyway, he's phoned me all the time, and he said, I can't remember what I was going to say now. I was thinking about now then. But yeah, lovely bloke. I've been speaking to him quite a bit, actually, and he said to me, "Have you looked at the questions?" And I said, "Oh, no, I haven't," because I spoke to, basically Sam Vincent said, "I'm going to absolutely effing hammer you, mate."
Yeah, he's done a good job.
Yeah, he will do, won't he? He probably just called me an old nonce, because that's what he normally calls me.
To be fair, quite a few people have had a good go at it. So
yeah, well, and he said, "Don't read them," And I said, "Do you know what? I don't want to read them. I want it to be as natural as possible." And I generally haven't read them, but I nearly did earlier because Mark was like, "Oh no, because you can prepare yourself." And I wanted to try and come across like we're just having a pub chat, mate. So I thought, no,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't. I literally, just before we go live, I have a quick scout through them just to see, because you don't want a whole load of questions that are exactly the same. You want to see where the land lies, and I don't want to cover too much in depth if people are asking a question about stuff, later on. So
I'll tell a lie. The only couple of questions I have seen was it on the Instagram, because you tagged me, didn't you? Mm-hmm. Collaborator. There was a collaborator. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I was getting a few notifications on the phone, and I had a little look through some of them. So yeah.
Yeah, there's some good ones.
Let's go for it, mate.
Right. First question, as always, comes from me, and it's the same one. I describe Bru Time as a relaxed conversation podcast exploring what it really means to live your life through honest conversations with people who choose more. When you hear that, what does choosing more mean to you?
Oh, that's a tough one, mate. And I would have heard that listening to so many of your podcasts. What does choosing more? Do you know what? I don't even know how to answer this really, but I don't tend to judge people really these days. So it is literally what's right for you. I'd say, as in like the live your life thing, then you just go and do you. I absolutely hate football. But do you know what? I almost get to the stage now where it's like, do you know what? You don't like motorbikes. I don't like football. What motorbikes gives me, you get from me football. So you go and do that, mate. I go and do my thing. But yeah, I think definitely as you get older, I'm 45 now, but how I think now is different to how I was thinking when I was 30, and how I think at 30 was different to how I was thinking at 20. But yeah, so you've got to live your life, mate, because the other day I remember thinking, I do love my job, and I thought, I retire in 15 summers' time. And I thought, 15 summers? I thought, Jesus, man. So in 15 summers, I'll be 60. I just couldn't get my head around it. It blew my mind. So you realise that, before you know it, time leaves you. And you've got to do
I'm turning 50 this year. Turning 50 this year, and it's... Turning 40 was no bother. 30, I didn't have any of that midlife crisis bollocks hitting 40. It didn't bother me in the slightest. Turning 50, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, wow, this shit's real. Like, time is marching by here. It really is marching by.
I think, sadly, when you get to, like, I don't know, maybe 45, 50, what I think is I've actually had a few friends now that said, my dad's poorly, or my parents are not very, my parents have passed away, or whatever. And I suppose you start thinking, oh God, is that something that I've got to face at some point? Because it's natural, isn't it? It's the natural fact of life. But you suddenly think, oh gosh, that seemed like a world away, like 20 years ago, and wow, that's happened. Yeah. And even almost like people I worked with, that when I joined the job 18 years ago, they were retiring within a year, and we're like, nearly 20 years on, and you read that they passed away. You're thinking, Christ, I remember having a laugh with him and working with him, and he's fit as a fiddle then. And doing more to me would probably mean just within reason, not putting stuff on hold for too long and actually getting it done.
Yeah. It's difficult though, isn't it? Because you can be, I'm very conscious I'm very conscious that my whole live your life mantra, ethos that I sort of propagate out there to people. It's all well and good saying that, isn't it? Live your life, go for it, do it. But life is life, and people have commitments, people have obligations. Life gets in the way. You know, you've got family commitments, there's health, there's financial, there's I often, in terms of doing a big trip, you know, doing a like around the world type thing, I think it's easy when you've done something like that and you've taken that leap and you've gone for it. It's really easy to be quite blasé about it to other people and go, just go for it, just go for it, because you forget how intimidating change can be for other people. You know, like the thought of changing your entire life, changing a career, moving to somewhere else. If you've never done something like that before, you know, obviously you've done it a few times. You joined the military, then you joined fire brigade, and then you joined the military, then you left the military to go do something else and ended up in the fire. So you've had those transitional periods in life. Some people have never had that, have they? You know, some people have never really faced anything like that. So the thought of doing it can be really
scary,
paralyzing, I think, for some people. Yeah, and it's just trying to get over to people. Like, it's never going to happen unless you go for it.
100%.
But it's got to be for you.
Yeah, but like you said, I don't know whether, I mean, the cost of living is whether it's the cost of living and obviously teenage kids, you know, you get into the stage where you're buying them the first car and you're paying for driving lessons. But I've never felt so much on the merry-go-round.
Yeah.
That's probably what I do now. So like you say, it's just that, you know, you realise that, well, to be fair, I said to someone the other day, I want time more than money. Time to probably just do what I want to do. But to do what I want to do actually takes money.
That's the problem,
I want to go on my motorbike. I want to go back and do loads more of Europe. I've done a bit of it, but I want to do more. I wouldn't say I want to go around the world. I wouldn't probably say I'm that adventurous, but I want to do Morocco and 2-3 weeks away. Almost like go away, and I'm not going to say I'm back in 2 weeks. It might be 4. If I just decide I'm having a nice time over there, it might be 4 weeks. But kind of not have to worry about how much leave I've booked from work and not actually have to worry about the financial implications. But I mean, what's that meme that's been going around? Obviously swearing, is it? Fuck it, book it. And it's like, you get people say that, and you think, well, easier said than done, mate. I've just bought 2 new tyres for my van. I've got my boiler played up in January. Like you say, life gets in the way, mate. It's difficult sometimes.
Yeah. I always say to people, like, you got to live for today, but prepare for tomorrow, and that's a difficult balance, isn't it? It really is. Yeah, sometimes you just have to say fuck it and go for it, don't you? But you can't be irresponsible. I think. Well, some people make a livelihood out of being irresponsible. That is their life, and they're perfectly happy and content doing that. But I like to have some semblance of a safety net somewhere. Might not be very big, but there's something there just in case.
100%, mate. And I tell you what, doing what you did when you left the old bill, I know you might not have said you had much choice, but very brave move. I'll be honest with you, I've always been like, if someone said to me, I've talked about this with Sam Vincent, and he was the opposite, funny enough. If someone said to me, right, I'll give you a job, 45, 50 grand a year, guaranteed, holiday, sick pay, or you could earn 85 grand a year, I'll be like, no, you're right, mate, I'll take the safety net one. Where Sam Vincent would have said, no, 100%, I'd reach for the stars type thing. I've always been that, I'll have the safety net, thank you.
Yeah. But then Sam's never done the roles that we have. He's never taken the military or the police, the emergency services. He's never done that job because he's not that type of person. He's not that mentality. No. You know, he's definite let's go out and let's see what I can do, make a go of things myself. He's that mentality. Whereas we were the type of people who like that order, who like that almost regiment, you know, the almost like the constraints there. This is how it's going to be, and this is where you fit in it. I was exactly like that, but as I got older, I definitely pushed back against that and was like,
100%, mate. And I think I'm the same, really. I absolutely love my job. Proud to do it. Proud that supported me through the injury and stuff. But it's work, isn't it? There's other parts of life you want to do. So,
yeah. Right, let's move on then. Onto the clan, onto the Patreon questions. First one, speak of the devil. Mr. Sam Vincent. He says, Christ, that's going to be one bloody long voice note. You are notorious for your voice notes.
Mate, I really am, but that's me, mate. Take it or leave it.
It's brilliant. You check your DMs on like Instagram, and Dave's left a voice note there. He just has a full-on conversation to his phone.
I do.
Awesome.
I love it. The other day, I did one to a mate. I mean, Sam rags me for it, right? But he leaves me some podcasts. He does. But I sent one the other day to a mate, and I looked at it. I think it was about 8 minutes long, so I deleted it.
Jeez.
So I went to record it again. I said, "Oh, sorry, mate. I was rambling there. It's a bit long, that one." And then I looked again. It was about 7 minutes. I just thought, "You're getting it. You're getting the 7 minutes, mate."
Yeah, I have it. Yeah. Right. Sam says, Dave, being someone that actually knows how to ride a bike off-road, if someone had never ridden off-road before, what bike would you tell them to buy, and what would be the first thing you'd recommend someone doing to become more confident? And how would that change once that person is confident enough to do some green lanes? So, getting into off-road.
First bike, was that?
Yeah, what bike would you tell them to buy, and what would be the first thing you'd recommend someone doing to become more confident?
I'll tell you what, let's just say, because I got asked a similar question, actually. So let's just say it's green laning or something like that, not motocross. I would say something along the lines of Honda CRF 250 300L, like what you rode in Yorkshire, if you remember.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Lovely bike, not for me personally, but
crap suspension, remember that?
Yeah, awful suspension. Such a forgiving trail bike. And it's quite funny when you see people, I'm buying a 6 days KTM 450 full top spec enduro bike, and it's like, in my head I'm thinking, that's up to you if you've got the money, but it's the wrong bike for you. I can tell you that now. So something along that, we've got the Chinese ones out now, haven't we? Like the Voges and stuff, but something along the lines of Honda CRF 300 250L. A friend of mine, Adventure Nikki, she's just bought one, doing great on it. Just because it's such a forgiving bike. So definitely be something like that. Nice and light, really tame on power. Crap suspension.
Can I ask, when people say that about that bike, they always say it's a very forgiving bike. Like in my head, right? Obviously, road-based, off-road's just for freaks. But when you talk about a 250 or 300cc, in my head, I'm like, God, that's just going to be woefully underpowered. Like, yes. How does that translate to off-road then, in terms of the relatively low cc, and the fact you're saying it's a forgiving bike? What makes it that?
It's almost like the power band, isn't it? So if you go for like the two-stroke, so if you got the KTM sort of two-stroke enduro range, they're competition engines, aren't they? High revving, tiny service intervals and stuff like that, and just like loads of power, because they're singles, aren't they? So really aggressive on the power, but they low down, but they'd rev out. They wouldn't do much more than probably 60, 70 miles an hour, really. But the CRF's just an absolute plodder. I haven't really rode many CRFs. I'll tell you whose CRF I rode. I rode Simon Lewis, lovely bloke.
Yeah.
In ABR. She said, "Oh, will you take my bike out, Dave?" Because I decided to ride his bike, and I've never rode one. First thing that stood out, like you said, absolutely awful suspension. And actually, I did give it a bit of, probably rode it harder than what it would have wanted me to. Sorry, Simon. I went full chat on it, and I hit this bump, and it nearly buckarooed me off. And I thought, oh my God, that suspension's so crap. It's unbelievable. But what I couldn't believe is I slowed down to almost like absolute walking speed, and it was just chut. And I thought, well, it's not even trying to stall out on you. And I just couldn't believe it. But yeah, like I say, so going on to the power, definitely with the off-road, it's not about big power statistics, is it? Big power bragging rights. It's all about how can you put that power down on the terrain you're at, and obviously maintaining traction so you keep momentum and stuff like that, really. So very forgiving, because it's just not violent it's not very violently delivering the power.
Right.
Is what I would probably say on that one.
Gotcha. And what would be the first thing you'd recommend someone doing to become more confident? And
the reason I say we talk about this is because I had a conversation with Brian, Peaky Biker.
Mm-hmm.
He likes a voice note as well, by the way, Brian. So if you're watching this, mate, in fact, Brian, you do videos, don't you? You don't even have a video of Brian. So he'll video a 5-minute conversation. And I said, that's even more annoying because I've got to watch it on my phone. So Brian asked me for some tips to how to feel more confident because he bought Paul Sparrow's 250, didn't he?
Okay, right, yeah.
Paul Sparrow's, yes, he bought his Honda CRF. And I said, look, the biggest tip I can give you is just get comfortable on that bike. So don't try and find all these weird and wonderful trails. Go to somewhere you know and probably visit it 5 or 6 to 10 times because it's about learning what the bike does underneath you, isn't it? So how does it feel on that terrain? What gear would I need to be on to get myself over that obstacle?
Right.
How does it deliver the power? Kind of what body input do I need to put into it to make it move left or right? Do you know what I mean? I said just learn like you would know on your GS. So if you were to ride your GS,
saddle time, isn't it? It's just putting the hours on the pegs or on the seat, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just said to him, just go somewhere familiar that you kind of know that's not going to put you off. You don't want to go smashing yourself up first time out, and just ride it and get used to it. You'll get a bit faster. How sharp are the brakes? How much brake input have you got to put in before it starts locking up? Do you know what I mean? That's what I'd recommend. It's all saddle time. And be realistic about your ability. So you could be, I'm just thinking of someone, you could be James Toseland on the track, but you ain't going to be Adam Reeman on the off-road. As soon as you get on the bike, you need to learn how that skill transfers to kind of being off-road, if that makes sense. So,
because Brian is very handy. You know, he's a real handy track rider and road rider. He's real good.
And he's getting there. He's getting there with the off-road stuff as well. You're not as bad as you made out, though. I didn't think you used to make out that you were dreadful, but when you come to Yorkshire, you didn't seem too uncomfortable.
No, I mean, I don't know what I'm doing. You know, I'm just getting through stuff on the bike, and I've got a reasonable understanding of what I'm doing on tarmac, but on the dirt, I have no idea. I'm just trying to stay on the bloody thing. That's pretty much.
That's almost like, so if you'd done a real gnarly bit of trail, you'd get to the end and go, I don't know how I managed that. But when you're confident, you get to the end. And if I said, should we turn around and do it again? You'd be like, yeah, let's do it. Because
go on, my apologies, sorry.
No, I was just moving my hand. But yeah, I'll just say that, like you say, it's just all saddle time, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Because I don't feel comfortable on these smaller bikes going off-road, you know, like on the Honda. I've done stuff out with my mate Lyndon over at Toro Trail on the 350 Huskies. I just don't feel confident, but I feel much more confident on the big GS and the 1250 GS off-road, just because I feel like the bike fits me. And like we did some reasonably, I went with Pete English and we did some reasonably gnarly off-road trails out in Morocco on the GSs. I didn't do the sand like Pete did for good reason, because he nearly died. So he's like, no, I'm not doing that. But I kind of quite enjoyed it. You know, like Morocco, I came away from that going, yeah, okay, I get this. By the end of the sort of 10 days or whatever we were doing it, I was like, yeah, okay, it becomes a bit addictive. And I was like, yeah, I get this. I'm starting to get this. Yeah. But thankfully that wore off once I got back on tarmac. So
yeah, that was actually quite a good series. That was actually, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Yeah,
I remember,
might be going back actually soon. So.
Oh, lovely! Yeah, I'm jealous. I've got I'm on a group actually with Pete English and Mark from Leeds, and he was actually putting a few updates on there. And I remember he put an update up of the day that he must have gone off in the desert.
Oh, yeah. I've never seen a man more broke than that.
It kind of come across on was it your videos? You done a series on it, didn't you? It was you.
Yeah, I did, yeah. And
he was like hanging over this hotel sink, almost in tears, saying, oh my God. Yeah. Fair. And Pete can ride a bike as well. So a combination of all that and the heat, that must have... it must have been a tough day. But yeah, I really enjoy riding. For an off-roader, genuinely, I haven't done loads of off-roading on my big GSA, but I really enjoy doing it on it because I find it more of a challenge. So If you said to me, should we do Morocco on a couple of enduro bikes, or should we do it on a big GSA? I'd rather do it on a GSA for me, but just because I'd find it more exciting and more of a challenge, to be fair.
Until you hit deep sand.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And that's what Brian found out very quickly, because he was asking me, again, go back to Brian, he was asking me for a few tips probably a year ago when he started trying to do a bit on his GSA. And he's quite a short guy anyway, isn't he? But for a beginner, it's just too much. It's a forgiving bike by the way that the engine's quite tractable, isn't it? And it's quite nice and calm on the power, and the suspension's pretty good, and it's a forgiving bike in that area. As soon as you get out of shape, you ain't holding it up, are you? That's where it's not forgiving, and then you got to pick it up. And I've always said that to anyone that wants to ride or try off road, you're going to fall off. If you do not want to fall off, don't do off road, because you're going to fall off. Doesn't matter how good you are, at some point you're falling off. So just kind of get your head around it and get something you can pick up, really. Because I've got to admit, touch wood, I don't fall off a lot, but I wouldn't want to. I've been invited out a few times, actually, on a few occasions by a few people locally, and it's more in the winter time, and I was like, well, I can't come, I haven't got a bike. And they were like, oh yeah, just bring your GS. And I was like, nah, mate, I'm not taking it down that.
That's a lot of money to be dropping, isn't it?
I just said, to be honest with you, I love the bike too much. I don't want to trash it, and I don't want to be picking it up, mate. It's too heavy.
Yeah, they're okay when they go over in tarmac, it's not too bad, because the old pots, the engine heads and stuff, they stop it going right over. But when it's off road and it properly goes over, that's one heavy bugger to pick up.
Sod that,
especially if you're by yourself. Not for me. Christ. No. Right. Sam,
and you got a banana leg.
Both. Yeah. But that all comes into it, as you get a bit older and you start picking up injuries, and the body's not quite as supple as it was. Like, God, I feel like an old man these days. I've got to start doing yoga or something and get more supple. But that does come in your head, It's like,
definitely,
If I'm going to come off here, things hurt now, whereas they never used to hurt. You just jump back up and crack on, didn't you? Bit bruised, a bit sore for a day or two, but then you'll be fine. Not now.
Yeah, well, going back to the motocrossing quickly, the last couple of seasons, race seasons, I haven't fell off a lot at all, really. I'm quite a tidy rider, touch wood. But every time I have, Christ, I've hurt myself. It's always been at high speed, and I've been limping, or I've got a massive bruise for 2 weeks. Maybe it's just an age thing, but it's certainly started to make me think a little bit,
Stick to tarmac. Question for you both. If you were 30 years younger and your beloved tractors weren't available to buy, and you had to go buy your perfect do-it-all bike right now, which colour would your Super Adventure be?
Orange.
It's got to be orange, isn't it? What freak gets a black one? No. It's got to be orange. It's got to be orange. He says, jokes aside. Oh, sorry, go on. Was that not your answer?
I hate to say it would probably be a Super Adventure, to be honest with you. And he knows it as well. That's why he's asked me. He just wants me. He wants me to say it out loud on YouTube. Sam, it would be a Super Adventure, mate. All right.
I've never hidden this fact. The KTM is by far the more enjoyable bike to ride. It is the ultimate riding experience for me. It's a fantastic machine, but I wouldn't fucking own one, because it's just not the complete package that you get, even with Ducati. Ducati seem to be pulling their socks up now. So,
I nearly went down the Ducati road. So when I snapped my GS and I was looking for another one, I nearly I thought, I'm going to go and try a Multistrada, but it would have been the V twin one back then. So I went and tried one of them, and then on the way back I tried a GSA actually, because I had a GS standard one. Like your old 1250. The one I broke was identical to that, really, but. For me, generally, very, very similar to you, Bruce. I don't hide the fact I like the KTM brand. That they're great bikes. Sam's Super Duke, the Super Adventure, fantastic. But when I migrated over to an adventure bike, I don't know if it's the old 1050 Super or KTM, whatever it was back then. I don't think it was on par with the GS at the time.
No.
Triumph didn't really do one. And I was swapping out from a BMW R9T that I only had for a really short period of time. So I went to my local dealer for a service, and they had my very first GS that I bought in there. And I was looking at it thinking, oh, I do like that. And I went over to the BMW brand, and my local dealer in Northampton, Wollaston BMW, I'll give them a shout out because they are really good. Just always looked after me, and they've been amazing. And they're only 20 minutes from where I live, so I've never had a reason to change.
No, I get you, yeah.
But if I was, and I said this to Sam, if I was 25 and I thought, right, I want to go and buy an adventure bike, and I was doing it now, if you think what's on the market now, going from a sports bike type thing, I just don't think you'd probably choose the GS. I think you'd probably end up on something like the Super Adventure, yeah, for sure.
If you chucked your leg over the Super Adventure and took that for a spin, you're going to buy it. You get it. It's an amazing machine. It's just phenomenal. But with an older head on your shoulders, and especially once you've experienced something like the BMW brand, and as I said, even Ducati now seem to be pulling their finger out. Once you've been looked after by a dealership, properly looked after, you've got an issue, no problem, bring the bike in, we'll sort that for you. Do you need a bike? Do you want a courtesy bike? Okay, it's a 10 or whatever it is now. Do you need a courtesy bike? There you go. That we'll give you a call when this is sorted. Bosh, perfect. That's what you need.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I don't have a YouTube channel or anything, but I get on really well with my local dealer, and I take I took the fire bikes in and stuff like that, and I could say, can I take out the M1000? Yeah, no worries, mate. Can you take this out? Yeah, no worries. So I used to do a bit of stuff on Instagram with them, like take a few pictures and stuff, but exactly what you said there. I mean, people say, why don't you try, varieties to spice your life or something like that? And sometimes I think, oh yeah, should I just try something different? But going back to what you said, with the dealer being so close, really good, and Sam's got the relationship that Sam has with the KTM Centre, Hemel Hempstead, is kind of what I have with my local dealer. So I'd be a nobody to them, and if I bought the bike and then it played up, I'm not saying BMWs are any more reliable, but I went there and I was dicked about, I would just, like you, I'd be like, oh, what have I done? Why did I do this? So I just have no reason to change. And if they give me a reason to change, then I'll look elsewhere. But I've currently got a 1250, but I've got a few other bikes in the garage, and I always say it's not if I get a 1300, it's kind of when. But generally, with my daughter wanting her first car and my lad getting into the motocross, I don't know if that'll be anytime soon, really.
Yeah, you got other priorities, haven't you, for sure. Where are we going now? Oh yeah, jokes aside, Sam says budget is 20k max. You can buy one bike or make that perfect garage with two within the 20k. No GSs in any form. What you do? 20k budget.
Ooh, 20k. I would probably still say I'm going to go Super Adventure, because you could probably pick. I don't know if could you pick one of them up for about 10 grand? I bet you could, couldn't you?
You probably could. KTM are always, doing price drops, aren't they?
Not brand new, so it'd be a second-hand Super Adventure, because I imagine Sam's is probably only worth about 5-6 grand now, with 1 million miles on it and 5 engines or something he's had.
I know he's on his third, isn't he?
Yeah. That was unlucky, but yeah. So definitely would say Super Adventure. Oh, I hate this because he's going to be like, yes. So yeah, Super Adventure probably. Well, I could say an older GS. I'm not allowed a GS, am I? So yeah, Super Adventure, and probably, do you know what? Probably my older Aprilia that I've got, and that'd probably still give me change in the pocket to go touring.
Good enough. See, I can't do second-hand bikes, mate. I can't do second-hand bikes. No, can't do it.
Such a bike snob.
I'm a total snob. I am. I'm a total snob when it comes to that. I don't want a deflowered bike. It's my bike. I don't want anyone else touching that. So I would go a brand new. Yeah, I'd go a brand new Super Ducar. That's what I would go.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Sam's been to Scotland, isn't he?
That bike just made me sex with myself. It's phenomenal. What a machine. Incredible.
So I nearly went down that road. I nearly went down that road before I got my Tuono. So I love the Aprilia brand. Always liked Aprilia from the old RS 250 days and two-stroke days. And I always wanted a Tuono. The V4. Mate, it is, but I think as a daily, I wouldn't say daily, but everyday road bike, the Super Duke probably does trump it. From after speaking to Sam, way better on fuel, which doesn't cook your gonads quite as much and doesn't get so hot. It's the fueling and electronics are a bit better. But I went and sat on one at Gear 4 and I was, do I get one? Do I not? And then I thought, well, if I get one, I just want one for the sake of what I want. But the Tuono is like, I've wanted one for ages. And the reason I got the Tuono was because I actually went down BMW and I was chatting to the sales manager, Charlie, top guy, about changing my GS 1250, and it was still fairly relevant and new. And I don't know what he said now. I think it was like 10 grand. He offered me £10,000 with the luggage, but I could keep the Acapro exhaust and set it on or something. And I remember thinking, what's the new GSA is like 22 maybe? And I was thinking, geez, it's like 12 grand just to ride a bike that's a little bit newer than mine, and it feels quite similar. Plus an interest rate, because I don't have 12 grand sat around. If I did, I'd spend it on my knee now. But 12 grand, I thought, with the interest rate, I thought that's like 15 grand. It's going to cost me 15 grand to change to another GS. That's kind of going to do what my current GS is doing. And besides, I want to do a bit of off-roading on my GS, and will I want to do it on a new GSA? Probably not. Yeah. And then I was just looking at the Tuonos, and because the new Tuono was coming out, they had knocked about 5 grand off the current one, and I was like, so I could actually get a Tuono cheaper than what I could change my GSA for. So that's why I done it, really. But I didn't need it, but I done it anyway. So
I'm laughing because I know what's coming up. Right, he's got another question. He says, who loves Daddy more? I'm Daddy, but you both knew that. He says, go follow his Instagram so he stops banging on about not being at 1,000 followers. Links will be down below, folks. Make sure you get paid to follow. And he says, love you both. Dave, no one cares about how cheap your Aprilia was or how you want an electric car. The electric car we will cover. Don't worry.
Yes. Yeah, go over. The old Aprilia, I got an old RSV, and Sam Vincent did do a little video of that. I don't know if you've seen it, Brucey. He loved it. But I did only pay about £3 grand for that bike. And dropped it as well. He didn't tell you that, but did he? He wanted to take a picture of it and it fell over.
No. Oh, no.
So that's why, he won't let me go near his Super Duke because I keep saying, do you want me to move it when we go to take a picture? He says, no. But, that is a good bike, to be fair. And the funny thing was, that's kind of in comparison to like a Ducati 996 type bike. And, if it was red, it'd be like 10 grand. And even Sam was like, wow, it's so good. And I occasionally send him ones for sale, and it's like $3 grand. I just can't get my head around why it's $3 grand. But I do know they were plagued with electrical problems, and people say when you've got a good one, you've got a good one. It's a mega bike.
What year's that?
I'd happily... 2005 Gen 2 Milli, but I'd let you take it out, mate, and I'll tell you what, you'd be gobsmacked how good it is. But I thought about selling it, really. I'll be honest with you, I have thought about selling it because obviously running out of money with my son wanting to do motocross, and obviously he needs to keep changing his bikes every couple of years. But I just because I have more bikes and I've got time without sounding like a show off, and I just thought, you know what, could I get rid of it? But for the fact I'd only get about $3.5 grand for it, I thought, do you know what? I don't want to. I'd rather just keep it. It's not like it's 10 grand sat in the shed, It's sort of £3,000. Yeah. I thought, well, sod it. Like your old Gixxo, it's worth more to you, isn't it? So,
no,
I keep forgetting.
I need to ride that more. Yeah, so do I. I've got to ride it more. It's basically my clothes horse in the garage. It's just got textile suits and stuff, jeans draped over it. Right, cheers for that one, Sam. Next one, Pete English. Oh, awesome. The return of Pete English. How you doing, pal? Great to hear you have Dave on the podcast. Great guy. My question, if you could pause time for an hour every day, what would you actually use it for? Oh, see, I've missed your questions, man. They're awesome.
He's always good with his questions. I don't know. I don't know where he gets them from. Pete English, Book of Questions.
Yeah.
He should write one, shouldn't he?
Or Chat GTP, GPT.
Yeah, that's
whatever
what
it
he's
is.
probably done already. Chat GPT, yeah. I love Pete. He's a good guy. He's a really good guy.
Yeah.
What was the question? If I could pause time for an hour
For
a
an
day?
hour every day, what would you actually use it for?
Well, I'd probably need 6 minutes of it and spend the next 44 minutes deleting my history.
54, Dave. 54.
Yeah, 54. Yeah, that's why I'm a firefighter, mate.
He wasn't very good at school.
Oh, yeah, if I could pause time, I don't know, really.
An hour every day.
An hour every day. I think that's just dependent on what you're doing and how your mood feels, isn't it? Because sometimes when I was busy at work in January, mate, I tell you what, I just want an hour just to be on my own and not talk to anyone. I'm not have to teach and deal with any problems. But now I'm off work and I'm only watching. I'm watching reruns of El Dorado. I'd probably happily.
Jesus.
I
remember that.
I'd happily. I'd pray to have an hour at work probably at the minute. But I don't know, Pete. You always bring up tough questions, mate.
I find time is just flying by at an ever increasing pace these days. It's the years, because I got the tours. Like the tours start. Well, they used to start in April and then they'll run till sort of late October. That period, April till October, just once the tours start, it's just tour, tour, home for 2-3 weeks, another tour, home for 2-3 weeks, another tour. And then this year, they started in February. Yeah, and it's just, and next year, we've just done the tour calendar for next year, and it's even busier. So it's like 2 weeks in between tours, and some tours, there's like 5 days. And I know 2027 is just, it's going to be done. Like we're already almost halfway through this year, and it's like, holy shit. So I think with an extra hour a day, I think I would just sounds really corny, but probably use it just to sit and chat with my missus, because we don't, you just don't spend time together anymore.
Yeah, me and Becky, my new partner, we've been together for about 5 years. It's weird. We probably live quite separate lives, but we love each other and stuff. But what I mean by that, she's just busy doing her thing. Yeah. She's a dog trainer, so she trains other people's dogs, and her hobby is training her dogs to compete. And if they compete, the more money she earns, really, if she's doing well. So she's got her own dog training field, and she wants to do her own fitness, and she does her thing and I do mine. And she never moans at me. And she's actually really good. She'd say to me, "Oh, babe, have you seen this motorbike thing? You should do that. You should go there." But I think you'd really, our time together actually is a bit like you said. We often go on a dog walk, and it'd be 2-3 hour dog walk to calm them bloody border collies down. But when we're out dog walking, we have like a debrief. We sort of debrief our day. What have you been up to? This is what I've done. What are you doing next week? Type thing. And my new job in the fire service, I work for the training centre. So I don't do shifts anymore. I just do it's like Monday to Friday. So I don't work nights. And I don't work weekends. But they want me to work weekends. It's kind of overtime, which is nice because it makes up for like the second job loss of income type thing. But it's very full on as an instructor. So I said to her, I feel mentally exhausted all the time because, like I said to someone recently, on a Monday, I'm already thinking, I've got to teach that lesson on a Friday. I've got to print that out. I've got to book the classroom. Bollocks, have I done that? So I never seem to switch off. But probably time just to switch off a bit, Pete. But I've been doing a lot of that recently because I've been off on my leg. So if you'd asked me that question 4 weeks ago, I'd very similar to Brucey. I'd say, do you know what? Just want a bit of time for me. That's what I'd probably say.
I get that. Yeah. Good question, that, Pete. I like that one. Good to have you back, pal. Simon Lewis, another legend.
Oh, I mentioned him. We mentioned him, didn't we?
We have. We've bigged him up already. Dave, one of the most caring people I know. Cannot wait to hear this one. Fear you may not get a word in edgeways. So my question is, all firemen appear to have a sideline business on their 4 days off. You have Dash, but what is the weirdest sideline that you've heard of to earn that extra cash? Don't tell MFL about your OnlyFans. All the best, Si. Dash, is that your painter decorator thing?
Yes, right. Let's cover this, Simon. Not all firefighters have second jobs, because I don't anymore. There you go. Historically, probably, yeah, because the pay was always been a bit low compared to the old bill, Maggie's boys and all that. So 4 on, 4 off is the most common shift pattern that most fire and rescue services do if you're on a full-time
It's
station.
really only 2, Dave, though, isn't it? Because you just sleep on your night
it's
duties.
82. Yeah. No,
to be fair, you don't
midnight,
actually do anything, so...
I know you would attack me, mate, because you're old Bill, or ex-old Bill. But so predominantly in the fire and rescue service, there was never really any overtime available, really. So unlike the police, which is on tap, isn't it? Mate of mine's in the old Bill, and I remember doing some work for him, actually. His phone never stopped ringing. I said, "What? You're popular." He said, "Oh, that's work, mate. They want me to work overtime." So in the fire service, there's never normally loads of opportunity to earn extra money. Yeah. Never loads of opportunity to earn money in the fire service, really, other than your kind of flat wage, because obviously it was staffed correctly, really. And then a lot of 4 on, 4 off now. Like I said, so when I'm on a 3 or 4 year secondment in training centre, and when I finished there, I actually said to Becky recently, because I've been so busy, and I really have been so busy, I said, all I want is time. I don't want to go back to having 2 jobs. I just want to do my 4 days on and come off and walk the dog and have 4 days off, because I'm getting older, and have time to go and ride my bike, because with this Monday to Friday thing, and then sometimes I'm working 6 days a week. I'm just so busy. And then on Sundays taking my lad dirt bike. I just don't really get a lot of time to myself. But going back to that. So 4 on, 4 off. I guess a lot of the guys, you get, I don't know what, I get the opportunity to earn a bit of extra money, then so be it. But what's the weirdest thing? So window cleaning, very popular, of course, the window cleaners. I used to do my paint and decorating. Loads of builders in the job. A lot less of the newer lads joining, the sort of 21, 22, 23-year-olds that are joining the fire service now. They're not interested in doing 2 jobs. They're quite, I would say, lazy, but they're just like, nah, don't bother. Don't want to. Why? I shouldn't have to. But then constantly moan they got the skin, and it's like, well, get a second job. No, shouldn't have to. Well, it's like, well, can't have it all. But I remember
police
guys,
is exactly the same.
A couple of
police is they're not interested in overtime.
Yeah. No. There's a couple of characters in the job that I won't say their names because some of them are still in there. They used to always joke around about being naked handymen. and they had good bodies on them as well. Yeah, they had good bodies on them, mate. I'm not going to deny it. They were always in the gym and they're saying we're going to do the naked handyman stuff or be a naked cleaner. They used to make loads of jokes and but the fire service has definitely changed. It's got very much more like corporate, a bit like what the police has become, and I think some of the older guys definitely struggle with, like, you know, like if you get in trouble on the outside, you'd have to inform them so they can give you a bollocking as well, type thing. So I think so with a secondary employment, it's called secondary employment. So with the secondary employment, every year you'd have to put your business case to my employer as a fire service and say,
same in the police,
do paint and decorating, I have public liability, I do this, I do that, I do this, do that. And then obviously you've got to tick all these boxes. I won't wear a uniform, I won't work while I'm on the sit. You know, basically you're kind of signing a contract to say if they catch you doing any of the above, then you're obviously they can terminate your contract of employment. So you got to be a bit savvy about it. Yeah,
so exactly the same in the old bill. That Do you find it was interesting what you said about the younger people joining the fire service now? It's like I'm positive you will have the same attitude towards this as me, in that when I joined the old bill, which was only in 2002, we're not talking like 1930 or anything like that, it was still a career. It was still a vocation. It wasn't a job. It was a way of life. You know, that became your life. You know, you sacrificed just about everything for that job, for the cause. And it's just not like that anymore. It's now just become a job. People aren't signing up for well, I suppose because it's now 40 years for a lot of these youngsters, people aren't signing up and thinking, oh, at the end of this time, I'm going to have this pension, this decent pension. They're literally now signing up for 3 to 5 years. They get the free travel, they do it for a little bit, and then they leave. They've got that on the CV to say they've done this, and then they move off into corporate world and do their thing.
100%. I think I actually remember about 10 years ago, I was chatting to, I know quite a few police officers, and they were saying that's the state of the police, basically. That's what the police was like. It's probably longer than that. It's probably about 15 years ago. And we were sort of like, it's not like that in the fire service, but we're there now. That's where we are now. So a lot of new lads join, and we have to do annual appraisal. So I'm like a junior manager. So, you'd be sitting there saying, oh, I've got to do your appraisal. Do you want promotion? Nah, not really. Oh, I think you should look for career progression. Nah, because I might leave in a couple of years. You're like, oh, really? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. And we used to have we used to have a brigade magazine, actually. And it's all online now. But you'd have
exactly the same as the mate. Exactly the same.
And you'd sit there, around your sort of around the table having your cup of tea, because obviously we didn't do alcohol. And someone would say, "Oh, you'd have your levers, the levers bit," and it would always be, the maybe one of the fire engine mechanics is leaving and a secretary's leaving, and once every 6 months, someone would say, "Bloody hell, you seen this? John's leaving from Dunstable Fire Station or something." And you'd be like, "Really? Well, what's he doing then? Why is he leaving?" And you'd all be like, "Well, you know him. Ask him. Why is he going? Can't believe it." Because the pension was different. You were locked in, weren't you? So if you got about 20 years in, you'd be an absolute mental case to leave the job. Well, now it's not quite like that. So now every other week, when you look at that thing, levers is like, boom.
Same in the police.
Gone. Yeah, it's mental, really. But unfortunately, I don't think standards have dropped. I really don't. I just think that, like anything, the ones that love it stay, and the ones that don't move on. But I think to do the job right, and to do the job well, and to do the job justice, you probably still have to have a little bit of that. I give my all a little bit. Yeah. I've had this conversation actually. Me and Sam always speak, and like, because I always call him corporate boy, because he's like a corporate boy, and he used to work in London and stuff. He'd be very much, I wouldn't work for the public sector. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do this. But when you've worked for it, and obviously a lot of camaraderie in the job, and you walk into. It sounds big-headed. I walk around headquarters. Oh, Davy boy. Do you know what I mean? And you feel like a sense of belonging, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Totally.
Yeah. So the trouble is, as you know, you feel like a sense of belonging, and you feel like they can't operate without me. They can. Someone retires.
You're a number, mate.
Yeah, 100%. And I've realised. I think you realise that throughout you as you get older in your career, anyway. But blokes that are proper, that guy would be known as an absolute legend. They've been gone a year. You've not even heard his name mentioned. So, and that would be the same with me. It'd be the same with you. It'd be the same with the next guy. But, I've seen a lot of change, but I still love the job. I say the job's changed. I said to someone the other day, because they asked me this, we're talking about it, but I said the job's changed, and it has to change, doesn't it, really? But the people have changed more. Society's
changed. Society's definitely changed.
Yeah, the people have changed more. And what I mean is by that, the people that we're getting in, like the police, that maybe want to leave the job after 5 years. So do they give it their all? Probably not. Do they come in, do their 4 days, and then quite happy to get away from the place for 4 days, really?
Yeah. There are still those same type of people who would have signed up and would have joined way back in the day, and were just like the solid people who would join the job, There's still those, but it's just not, it's not on the same numbers that it used to be. You just in the old bill, you just need to look at some of the old bill now. There's no pride in it. There's no, God, I don't know.
And I'll mention it. I mention it because I know you have before, but the fire service as a whole, not just my service, has gone very much corporate and like academic led. So obviously people with degrees and stuff like that coming in, and it's not really needed. No, and it's been noted though. It has been noted in the job where it's like we're taking on recruits and half of them are not getting through and they're struggling with this, and it's like, why have we got to show them what a spanner is? Why? Because, like I say, the training's probably better now than it ever has been. But back to make the course can't be 5 years worth of training. So when I joined, they wouldn't teach you what a toolbox was. They wouldn't need to.
Yeah.
So if they said to me, go and get a toolbox off the fire engine, mate, you've got to undo that nut, and you look at it and go, do you know what, mate, a ratchet spanner would be quicker. Get the socket set off. Now it's like, hey, how am I going to undo that? Oh, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? Well, I've not been shown. So the training's good, but if they haven't been shown something, it's like they can't think outside the box a little bit. So that's what I mean by, and I guess, which is where I feel quite passionate, because I've changed it all now to have all these degrees and high-level GCSEs and stuff like that. Sadly, there's a lot of ex-army guys that knock on the fire station door and say, do you know what, I really want to join the fire service. Have you got any tips for me? I've been doing this X, Y, Z for my fitness, blah, 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 blah. And you say, look, yeah, you've got to pass all these maths, English tests, grammar, everything. And
just puts people off.
And a lot of and I've so many guys have failed. And when you sort of speak to like the HR departments and say, oh, this poor guy failed, they say, well, he's got to go to college and redo his GCSEs. And he's like, well, he's 32 years old. He's an ex-Royal Marine Commando. Are you telling me certain things of what he's done in the military and being like a Royal Marine Commando, teamwork, discipline, sense of pride wouldn't actually work well in the job? But and actually, when you get in the job, bear in mind I'm a trainer. I never ever say, "Oh, show us your GCSE results, mate."
I know.
So it's just
what
like,
bearing has it got? None.
So irrelevant, and it's just, and then it's frustrating. But in fact, because I'm now in the training team, which is quite good, I've just done some interview training, which is nice because I sit on interview panels now. They've kind of had a bit of a restructure in my service and sort of say, well, what we'll do is, because you're operational, I'm an operational firefighter, so to speak, that when we go on when they interview new recruits, at the end of their selection process, there's 4 or 5 of you on the panel that are operational with HR to make sure you're crossing the I's, dotting the T's. But when I ask you relevant questions, the questions will all be written out for me, that I can score them accordingly. Because what used to happen is you'd have someone from HR and you'd be like, how's that answer scored a 5? And she's like, oh, I thought he was lovely. You're like, well, he might be lovely, but is he going to be a good firefighter?
Said the buzzwords.
Yeah. So difficult. But it's definitely changed.
Exactly the same. Exactly the same. Cheers to that one, Si. Next one, Andy. Evening, gentlemen. Hope this finds you well. A couple of questions, if I may. Firstly, David, your choice of career to date could be described as servicing society. Have you ever thought of that?
Yes, but that's not why I joined the job. So obviously I think you're going to be helping people. That's kind of part and parcel of the job, isn't it? But I joined probably because I was attracted to that adrenaline rush and the danger, and it kind of comes hand in hand. And I guess you've got to be, what's that corny thing? When people run away from danger, you run towards it. They sell that sort of thing. Or
somebody has to do it, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what? Generally, I said that to someone the other day. Someone said about it being a crappy not a crap job, but I wouldn't want to do it. And I actually had the mindset where I thought, well, I don't mind, and someone's got to do it. So
exactly,
at the end of the day. But if I talk about, I went to this car crash, and some of my friends, you don't ever say stuff on social media, personal details about things, and I'd be like, why would you want to do that? I can't imagine it. But for me, there's obviously some form of attraction to it. That makes you. I know I'm helping someone in the process of what I'm doing, but at the same time, I think it's quite fascinating being around that type of thing.
And it's weird. So go on. Apologies.
I was going to say, sorry, mate. It's the delay, isn't it? It's the
delay's annoying. Yeah.
Similar to what you've seen, the stuff you get to see sometimes when when you're in the old bill. It's almost like, it's so cool that I get to kind of see it. So I don't actually mind really.
Yeah. I just remember, exactly as we just discussed there, it was like, it's almost a sense of pride, you have to deal with some pretty horrible and horrific things, and you have to see some pretty horrible and horrific things. It's like simple things like, a death message, when you've got to go and tell someone that their loved one's not coming home tonight, that sort of stuff. Someone has to do that. And you almost I almost used to take this sort of weird, perverse sense of pride in someone has to do this. This is probably the worst thing that person's ever going to have to experience in their life. So let's do it well. It's like you've got to do a good job here, because that's going to impact on them forever. And it's also going to be a lasting memory for them on the old bill. Like how that information was delivered to them is going to stick with them forever. So it's like, you got to do this properly and do it well.
Yeah, 100%. I guess I feel very similar. So when management, it doesn't happen that often, but when management are a bit pissy, I've always had that. What really bugs me is that when I turn out, we call it turning out, when I turn out on the fire engine, I want to do the best job possible. So when I leave, that member of public who's probably never interacted with a fire service before thinks, what a professional bunch of people. Do you know what I mean? And so when I do. Yeah. But you as a manager of that fire engine and that guy didn't have his gloves on, I'm thinking, what? All right, well, okay, I just didn't notice. Not saying it's that
other things to deal with.
Yeah. But I certainly wouldn't want to do the death message thing. So I obviously work quite closely with the traffic officers at RTCs and stuff like that. But yeah, sense of pride, and I've seen it throughout my whole career. When you're dealing with like deceased people and stuff like that, how professional people behave around that sort of thing. And at RTCs and I'll be honest with you, even sometimes you work with some of your colleagues and they might listen to this and you think you're a plonker, mate. They're still professional when it comes to that.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? It's cliche. It's almost like, I'm going to sound a right wanker saying it, but it's like it's your calling, isn't it? If you're that type of person that is attracted to that type of job, I think you just know. You know. Yeah. And if you think you are and you get there and you're really not, you'll figure that out very quickly.
Yeah. It's a natural progression, isn't it? So I went from the military to that. There's still the uniform. There's still like rules and procedures.
Camaraderie as well. Yeah.
Massive camaraderie.
Family.
Probably, yes, but I always see it as a bonus. I always used to say to my mates, it's like being in the army, but more fun, and I get to go home at night.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely like a calling. Is it a vocation job? Is that what people sometimes say? Yeah. It's like a vocation job. I don't ever think the pay's horrendous. You can probably earn a bit more in the public sector if you work your way up, but I don't know. I generally, if someone offered me 3 times more than I'm paid now, I still wouldn't take it. I generally love the job.
Fair, you're getting a full-time wage for part-time hours, so
Yeah, exactly. 100%. I must admit, though, I was a bit pissy when I went to see the doctor, and he said, "Look, if you got sort of $4,500, we'll sort you out next week. But if you haven't, you're on the waiting list." And I laid it on thick. I said, "Look, mate, I work for the Fire and Rescue Service, and they need me back, and blah 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 blah."
I'm a hero, don't you know?
Yeah, I pretty much, I wanted to say it without saying it, and he sort of said, well, I wish there's something I can do, but I can't. And then the nurse was lovely, and she said, look, I wouldn't rush out to pay for the private fee, because you might get a phone call in 6 weeks. And this sounds corny, going back to what you said, and I sort of said to the woman, I said, no, it sounds really corny. I don't really want praise for it. I said, I'm embarrassed saying it on here. I said, I've saved people's lives. Genuinely, and I've been in the military, and I said, all I want is an operation which I've never had in my life, so I can get back to work. So I don't want to be sat around at home. And she went, I know, mate, sorry. And
it's infuriating, isn't it? When you look at what certain other people are getting for fuck all.
It did piss me off a bit, really. And like my mate said it, and the nurse said it as well. Sadly, it counts for fuck all. So sorry, but
which is just wrong. It's just wrong. Anyway, let's not get into that. Second question from Andy. Re-off-roading, what advice would you give to all the middle-aged men who seem to be taking it up? I think we covered that, didn't we?
Yeah, just take your time. Don't go and get the latest and greatest motorbike because you don't need to, because you're going to break it anyway. Just take your time with it all, really, mate.
And put the hours in riding the bloody thing.
Go and see Pete English, that's what I'd say, and then spend a weekend with him. He'd sort you out,
Absolutely. Yeah. Final question for Bruce. One for you. What have you taken up in your middle age that you wish you'd done in your youth? Have a good one.
Fire service.
Rowing.
Yeah, you like that, don't
I
you?
wish I was into my rugby in my uni, and the uni had a rowing team. And I remember being asked, like on Freshers Week, when I was looking for the rugby team, to go up and sign up for that. The rowing team were like, do you want to come and give this a bash? And I was like, it's not for me. Nah. Posh lot, I'm not doing that. But I've got into rowing, not out on a boat, but just on the machine, believe it or not. And I enjoy it. And I often think to myself, I kind of wish I could do it now. Like Maidstone down the road they've got a rowing club, but I haven't got time anymore.
Nah.
Too busy doing other stuff.
You don't seem to have a lot of time, Brucey.
No, it's just chaos. It's just utter chaos at the moment, to be honest. I've not for the second week in a row, I've not been able to get a vid out. I should be putting a vid out tomorrow, and I'm nowhere near finished it.
A question to you from me then: Do you get sick of the tours? I know it's hard for you to answer. You don't?
No.
Throw your leg over a bike and think again.
I get tired. It sounds really wanky to say you're tired, touring motorcycles to different parts of the world.
It's tiring, it is tiring.
It does get tiring, it genuinely does get tiring, but I love it. I love meeting new people and introducing them to Spain or European roads, because they're just so different to what you get in the UK. And then I also love making mates, repeat customers who are now friends. It then becomes you're almost going away on tour with your mates a lot of the time. So I'm loving that. And this is also allowing me to do stuff that I probably just wouldn't have done had I not had the touring business now. We went to Australia in February, March. Next year, we're now looking at going to New Zealand. What's the chances that I would be able to afford to do that myself, having not had the touring side of things? Definitely. So it's facilitating my passion for travel, and I get to share that and introduce that to other people. So I love it. But I also really enjoy editing, and once the tours start, it's really hard to find the time to edit. And I have been, I've tried 3 editors so far, and none of them.
Have you stopped with that then?
Yeah,
I've
just started
now. At one stage, yeah. Well, fair one.
I've had 3 now, and my son, 3, and then my son on top of that. And the only one that actually did anything successful was my son. And he's not really into it, so I'll just.
I've got to admit, a few times I've thought about, should I do some YouTube stuff, but to be honest with you, mate, I'm not very good with tech, and I don't want to do the editing. I've got no interest in it whatsoever. Mark from Leeds. Yeah, Mark from Leeds said to me the other day, while you're off for your leg, you should learn how to do editing. And I thought about it, but maybe I still will, but I'm not really that interested, Bruce, if I'm honest with you, mate. I tried it once. I think I went to Wales on my motorbike for a little solo tour. I haven't done much of that, and I do want to do more solo stuff. I did really enjoy it. And I thought, do you know what? I'll set the mic up and I'll have a go. I know it comes more natural to people the more you do it, but I sort of rode off and I was really thinking, I thought, I'm not enjoying my riding. All I'm doing is thinking about what I'm saying and what I'm looking at. I wonder if that's coming out all right on the camera. And I just thought, I just turn the camera off and put it away. But I like sharing stuff on Instagram, really, that's personal to me. I would like to get a few more followers, probably, just because I like sharing what I do and I love the motorbike industry. But I don't think it's very easy to grow a channel or anything now, really. So
it's harder than ever now, man. Yeah, it's harder than ever now. It's all it's just a weird space now. You need to, you kind of need to be doing it just feels false. And I know it's not, it's just people playing the game, but it's all this sort of clickbaity stuff. And everyone's using AI for thumbnails now. And it's just, I end up pushing back against stuff like that. You know, I end up going the opposite way. So, which then hurts your channel even more. But it's just a weird space at the moment. I will. Right, cheers to that, Andy. Next one, Paul Jacks. Were you into bikes before or after the military, and what inspired you to instruct? Well, we covered the bike side of thing before. What got you into it? What about instructing? We haven't covered that. So you were BikeSafe and a fire bike instructor.
Yeah, more biker down with the fire service side. So I was into motorbikes before the military. I stopped while I was in the military. Got out of the army, got into road bike riding, and I probably done that and all my track day stuff before I got back into the off-road riding. I got back into the off-road at about 35. But so my fire and rescue service have got a fire bike team, and quite a few fire services have got a fire bike team. They call it the fire bike team. And I always get asked the question, no matter what open day or wherever I go, where do you carry the hose pipe on that? It's really? So the fire bikes are used for educational purposes. We don't go to 999 calls on them. So nationally, the Fire and Rescue Service teach a thing called Biker Down. And every fire service in the country has been instructed that you must teach Biker Down. So basically, as a team expanded, they knew I was... Yeah, as a team expanded, I was contacted and they said, do you want to become a Biker Down instructor? Join the fire bike team. We know you're a bike rider. So I had to do my IAM to prove I could ride a bike properly and stuff like that. So I worked with them, teach the Biker Down, which is a great course. I thoroughly advise anyone wants to do it. And then within my service, we work quite closely with the local police, and they were struggling to deliver their BikeSafe, as in like, is it normally done with like the traffic police side of it? The motorcycle riders,
it used to be, yeah. So certainly in the Met, it was tended to be traffic.
I know the Met and in areas up north, they're still really on the BikeSafe stuff, but Bedfordshire Police, is it that they changed their road policing unit to Beds, Herts and Cams, I think? And as they've done that restructure, mate, I believe they've got motorbikes that are 3 years old with 1,000 miles on the clock. They just don't get used. Yeah. And they were really struggling for the capacity to be delivering their BikeSafe. And one of their sort of chief instructors actually approached the fire service about, can you deliver it? And they got a bit upset then, saying, no, the fire service do Biker Down, we do our BikeSafe. But luckily for us, we've got like the RTPs, which is the same as what the police use. We're kitted out the same, high level of motorcycle skill training. And then they just said, look, you're as qualified as us. Do you want to help us teach it? I'll be honest with you, it was a way of actually getting paid and time away from it. Yeah, to get ride a bike, really. I actually do less now than what I ever have done for the bike team, partly because of my new role within the training department. But I hammered it like 2017, 2018, 2019. And I actually thought, I'm not on my own bike. And as fun as it is, Brucey, you've been there, it's work. But I do enjoy it. I do enjoy the instructing. I don't really talk that I do a lot of the instructing side of it because I know what I was like when I was 20. And I try to remember how I used to think when I was 20 years old and how I used to ride my motorbike. And like probably you, like 85% of your listeners, it's trial and error, mate. And the ones that have got it wrong are not here to listen to these podcasts. But
ultimately, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I am passionate about maybe trying to pass on some of my knowledge and saying, look, with the advanced biking and all that, I know I shouldn't really say it on air. I'm not going to get myself in trouble, but I don't love the IEM. I like the idea of this rapid training. I think that's really good because it just seems a bit cooler. I don't love the IM. I've worked with some IM instructors and they very much come across like knowledge is power.
Same.
And why was it you was in the
it's
wrong
an
position?
Empire. Yeah. Empires, that's all it's about.
Is when we do some instructing or me, and I say, come on, mate, show us your R1, rev it up. What's that? Tamagoni exhaust? That sounds amazing. How fast it go? And it's almost like they're looking at me like, you shouldn't have that bike. And we always say, number plate's not going to kill you. Yeah, he's got a small number plate and he hasn't got his baffle in his exhaust. I don't care. What will kill him is his observation links and where he's looking when he's riding. So when we teach it, we actually we try and be a bit more like, have fun with the students and be realistic. I've actually stood there and I've seen my boss's face and some of these IM guys when I've said, yeah, I speed on my bike. I said, we all. If I sat there and said, I never ever break the speed limit on my Tuono, I'll be lying to you. But, and it's unrealistic for me to think you turning up on this event on a Panigale and an R1M that you're not going to be doing the same. But can we talk about maybe where you do the speeds?
Yeah.
And when you're doing the speeds, what are you looking at to make you think maybe I should or shouldn't be doing them? And we call it, obviously, as you know, like observation links. So when we go on rides, what are you looking for? Well, as a combine harvester in the field, summertime, the combine in, a combine needs a tractor. So could the tractor be around the next corner? A tractor will probably spill its load of corn on the road. So will the road service be compromised? Do you know what I mean? And seeing all them things might make me go, do you know what? I'm probably going to slow it down for this corner, play it safe, and live to ride another day, really. But it's amazing when you start speaking to some of these younger lads, and it is hard on a sports bike, head down, arse up, and all that. You're not going to, you just don't see it, do you?
But like I think it's more a case of making people aware of what they should be doing and what what the information is, and exactly what you just said there, what that information then means, how that translates to potentially what's around that bend or what could happen. It's getting people not just to look in front of them, look down at the front wheel almost and react to that as it happens. It's look way ahead, take in all that information that's coming. What's the paintwork telling you? What are the road signs saying?
100%.
It's all there, isn't it? Once you're aware of what is about, you're like, fuck me, it's all written. Nothing's a surprise here. It's all there.
So the funny thing is, we talk about, our roads are awful, aren't they? With the fucking potholes everywhere. But actually, like you just said, you hit the nail on the head. We actually the roads are really good because all the information's there to tell you that there's a hazard, to tell you there's a hidden junction, to tell you there's a hidden dip, to tell you there's a crossroads. It's just that you don't we don't see it. But I suppose what I try to get across is when I do some of these events is advanced. If I say advanced riding, how many people think that's boring?
No. And I know why, because a lot of them are fucking arseholes.
I know,
exactly. A lot of them are proper arseholes about it. Yeah.
But I say advanced riding is just about come and have an advanced riding course, and then if you take 5 things out of the 10 away, you're going to be a better rider. And then, because I've had this conversation before. In the police and emergency response driving, they call it riding to the system, don't they? Or driving to the system. And I've said this many a times. You've got to tell yourself to ride to the system, haven't you? So when I put my helmet on, doesn't matter what I've been trained, I've got to ride to the system and tune myself into the environment. So
commentary helps massively.
I've been out on my Tuono with Sam Vincent on his Super Duke, and I'm telling you now, I've not rode to the system. But there's elements of me trying to, where am I looking? I might be looking more ahead of the road to what Sam is, for example. But what I'm saying is if I then went out on one of the BMW RTPs with my fire bike instructor behind me, I would definitely be riding differently to the system. But I done the I was lucky enough to do the emergency response course on the motorbikes.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the hardest thing I've ever done. One of the hardest things I've ever done. And you've said it before, and thousands of people say it, how fast you can ride a police bike.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're flat out. You know, the RTs, you just got to go flat out.
Absolutely.
And then when you go to the advanced, like there's different tiers in the Met. There's the standard response, which is your emergency response, blues and twos on the bike. But then above that, there's then the advanced bike. And then, you know, if you then want to go into surveillance, the special escort, you know, the ones that do the Royals, the Outriders, it just goes to a whole new level once you go up to there. The advanced lot are like taking RRs out and riding them flat out places. It's just nuts.
I'll tell you where I struggled on the course. I know it sounds silly. I struggled with holding my attention. So what I mean by that is what you did hour long blue light runs, mate, at like 140 miles an hour, and riding to that pinpoint accuracy for that period of time without and the biggest saying they hate in any course like that is when they ask you to explain why you cocked that corner up, and you would say, "Oh, I'm not familiar with that road." And they would go mental, wouldn't they? They'd literally lose their shit and say, well, you don't need to know the road. You should ride to the system, blah, 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 blah. But, yeah, I found it like, you know, you'd be on point with your riding and all of a sudden you'd probably do a set of traffic lights and forget to change the tone or something. And it's like, come on, switch on, do that again. You failed. You're like, oh, I've been riding for an hour. Come on, hurry up. Yeah, hard course, but enjoy the instructing side of it. Don't do a lot of it now. Enjoy, I guess, just hopefully passing some knowledge on in a way that I can get some form of buy-in from someone and they don't go and end up under a bus.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers to that one, Paul. Next one, Mad Leprechaun. Good evening, gentlemen. My question is, what is your favourite kind of two-wheel activity? Do you find it's difficult to switch off after your time in the armed forces? So favourite kind of two-wheeled activity?
I would say now, I wouldn't say road ride, it'd be road riding, touring with friends, experiencing new places, looking at beautiful views. That would be my idea of favourite riding. I guess my motorbike riding, what motorbikes give me has changed throughout my life. Has changed. So I love the off-roading, but I've always done it. So if someone said to me, do you fancy 2 days dirt biking or should we go to south of France on the road? I'd take the south of France all day long. Where some people now will be like, oh, no chance, I'll definitely do the dirt biking. But it does seem like off-roading is suddenly the coolest thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, everyone's getting into that now, aren't they?
And I've just been doing it for years and I still love it, but it's just same old for me, really. So I do enjoy the... I call it the dick bike, which is the Tuono. So occasionally I like to go out on that and just feel 20 years old again. But I still, the apple of my eye is still my GS. I just love touring and getting away a little bit and somewhere different, somewhere new. Stop and having a coffee.
Yeah, same. And I really enjoy. I love the touring side of stuff and what I'm doing now. You know, with the business. But I really enjoy solo tours, you know, just hitting the road yourself. I fucking love that feeling. I'm doing something next week, actually, and I'm just going to be away on a bit of an endurance ride, just myself. I'm really looking forward to it. Just me on a bike, off we go.
Yeah, I hope you have a good time. Yeah, I haven't done a lot of it. So last year, I knew I was going into this training job. It must have been about March time. And I come home and I'd wound all my paint and decorating down and I come home and I'd like my 4 days off and I got home and Becky had already gone to work and she said, oh, you're going out on your motorbike, where are you going to go? And I said, oh, do you know what, I just fancy getting on my bike and effing off to Wales. And she was like, do it. And I said, well, I might do. Then she phoned me up and said, do it. And do you know what? She said, if I come home and you've not gone, I'll think less of you. because she said, when you start this training job, you won't have the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm doing it. And I literally went on my phone, right? I knew a hotel, really nice hotel in Bedgellet. I'd stayed there before. So I just got on my phone, booked it, run upstairs, got my Krieger rucksack, stuck a few...
Packed it. Popped off.
Pants and... And do you know what, mate? I loved it.
Good.
I did 2 nights away on my own. I haven't ever really done that. But do you know what? I stopped when I wanted. I rode as fast as I wanted to ride.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. That'd be a nice picture. I just turn around without all your mates moaning. And I was at the garage. I was at a petrol station in a little Welsh village, and a guy walked over and said hello. And I'm convinced if I was stood there with 10 of my mates, like I normally am when I go, they wouldn't have come over. No. And he was, I can't remember, it was from somewhere like Switzerland, and we were just chatting for about half hour. He bought me a coffee. And I rode off, you got a big beaming smile on your face thinking, I just love this. And I loved it. And I was blown away with how much I liked it. So I've got this bad knee now, and I thought to myself the other day, you know what? When I get myself better, I'm just going to sod off for a couple of days on my own and just have a bit of a reset, really.
Nothing beats it, man. I love it. It's such good medicine for the soul. Speaking of which, Mark says, do you find it difficult to switch off after your time in the armed forces? Now, I'm not sure if he means life after the military or, like in your downtime outside of, let's say, the fire service or something. Do you find it difficult to switch off?
No, not really, mate. Whether he means mentally, I don't know if he means mentally. So, look, thankfully, although I did some operational tours, quite a few of them in the army, they was not overly kinetic or horrible. So I don't have any demons really in the closet, I guess, from that. I've got a few friends that have struggled for various other things. I've seen some horrible things in the fire service, way worse than what I ever see when I was in the military, to be fair. But I've yet, touch wood, to be unaffected. But I actually do quite a bit with the mental health side of it, like the trim officer, and I've definitely been affected by mental health myself. But I don't have trouble switching off. I'm quite happy and content in life, thankfully.
Yeah. It's weird. I never had any issues at all when I was in the old bill. None, and you just deal with it. You just deal with it, don't you? And you move on to the next thing and you pack that away, and there's no point in falling apart over that. You've just got to crack on. Since I've left, it's weird. Just little innocuous things just pop back into your head. Just the sound of God, the sound of someone crying, wailing when you tell them something, or a smell, or just weird stuff just pops into your head. You're like, fuck me, where does that come from? And it's just it's way back there, and now it's coming to the fore.
Well, definitely from doing like the mental health stuff and that, and obviously speaking to so many people, there's no way you can do what you do in the fire service and be unaffected.
Yeah.
So I remember getting taught this. They said you are affected. 100% what you see. If I tell some of the people, I'd never say it on this podcast, they'd be like, what? What? Oh my God, are you okay? And I'm like, it's just part and parcel of the job, but it's definitely affected you. But I remember actually doing a mental health course, which is what got me into doing like the mental health first aid and stuff, the trim officer stuff. So in the fire service, we have loads of courses. Well, once you pass your training in the fire service, like the old bill, you don't. That's not it. You do your continuation training. You're doing managerial courses. As part of one of my managerial courses, I remember moaning about it because my second job, and it was on my 4 days off. And it's like, oh, you got to attend a 2-day mental health like first aid course or something.
It's going to cost me £400.
Yeah, but that was, mate, you must have been in the room. And I was like, why have I got to do this? I was part of your managerial training. And I went there and I thought it was going to be a real crappy course and amazing. I credit to the person delivering the course, but it was all about mental health. And what it was for managers to recognise when people are affected. And I never really had any mental health training in the time in the military or anything. And she said, let's call it mental fitness. She says, what I mean by that? Mental health sounds like you're in a loony bin. Mental fitness, because everybody is affected with their mental fitness. That goes up and down like a fitness level, yeah? So what she was saying is, so she just explained it at like such a fire service, firefighter, soldier level. She said, So you've got this guy on we call it watches, don't we? So this guy on your watch is Mr. Dependable, brilliant firefighter. He's done 20 years, just got married, just been on his honeymoon, still getting sex every night. But she said mentally, he's probably in a really good place. Yeah. So he can kind of deal with the day-to-day, whatever comes in, whatever shout that is, because mentally he's in a really good place. His brain is a sponge. He can absorb it with everything else that's going on in his life. But then you got this guy here and she said, that's how she said it. She said, he's probably getting divorced, maybe lives at home with his mum. And I thought, fucking hell, it's me. It's like she's talking about me.
It's like 60% of the old Bill and Trumpton,
yeah.
isn't it?
And when she said that, because he's going through all them things, maybe, although you think he's Mr. Dependable, you need to recognise that maybe he's not at this stage. But when he's kind of recovered, like me with a new partner, you're mentally back up there. So you will get there. It's just you've got to recognise that people go up and down. And now I say that, so you know what it's like. You get a crap month financially, your car breaks down, and because you've had that extra bill, like I was knackered in January working all the overtime I could. Then I come downstairs one morning, there was water everywhere because the boiler went. I was just so like, oh, really? Do you know what I mean? Like beaten down.
Yeah.
Now, and really, to look at it, your mental fitness would have took a knock. So if I'd then gone to work and then done something else, so yeah, motorbiking definitely helps me with my mental health, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it does for a lot of people, mate. It's a common thing, isn't it? For sure. Cheers for that one, Mark. Next one, Patrick Hennessy. Hi to you both. Question for Dave. Since you joined the fire brigade, you must have seen many changes, good and bad. With this in mind, would you encourage people to join up still? Yeah,
100%. We covered it a little bit, didn't we, Brucey? So, yeah, the job's changed a lot. The people have changed. But I guess if I joined the job now at 20 years old, I wouldn't know any different anyway, would I? So, it's still,
absolutely.
It'd still be a great job. I don't really get upset over people leaving now. I'd probably say, why do you want to go? I'd probably, in some of the positions I'm in now in my training department, I'd have that conversation as to why do you want to leave? Think it through. But ultimately, the decision lies with them, doesn't it? So I'd still recommend it, mate, 100%. Job's not for everyone, but I think it's a brilliant job. I love it. So hence why I'm still there.
Yeah, you nailed it. The job's not for everyone at all, is it? But you just, if you have that mentality, it's the job for you, for sure. Yeah. And he says, and the same question regarding the armed forces too. Thanks for your service.
Thank you, mate. Much appreciated. It's scary to think I've probably been out the armed forces about 20 years now. I couldn't believe it when I worked out the other day, because I would have retired by now. I speak to some of my mates that are in there. Now, some of them actually are commissioned officers now, so they've gone through the ranks and been commissioned and stuff, or really high up, and they've just said it's not what it was. But that's what I would say about the fire service. So they've just seen it from then to now, but they still talk about it. I think it's a lot. Yeah, it's just different, mate. It's not worse. It's just different, I'd probably say, mate. Yeah, absolutely. Police was exactly the same. Cheers, Patrick. Mark from Leeds. Dave is the salt of the earth and a great friend. I love the extended voice notes and the even longer phone conversations. To you both, what is your favourite meme or memes you quote on a daily basis? Well, mine definitely is not politically correct, but mine is just, what are you gay? That's pretty much constant. My missus says it to me. All my mates say it to me. I say it to all my mates. It's constant. I don't think I really have one. I must have one. I'm going to let you down now, Mark, because I can't think of one. I love being rude to Mark, though. Every time he messages me, I always sort of give him sexual remarks, and he gets ever so upset. You got to be rude to Mark. It's just that's why he's here, you know. I just randomly message him, Bruce, and say, Mark, send me a dick pic. Speaking of which, he's put, Bruce, you're still a dick. Thanks, Mark. He gets so upset. He's like, fuck off. That's it. No, I don't know. I don't know. I must have one. I'm going to come back to you, Mark. I'm going to come back to you.
It's not really memes that you send me. You just send me like gym chick reels. That's all I seem to get from you. Just
the midget one.
midgets. You send a lot of midget stuff.
Yeah. Bruce said to me the other. I was listening to a podcast of Bruce's, wasn't I, a couple of weeks ago, and you said you're trying to clean up your algorithm, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
So I sent you loads of stuff,
didn't you?
And I said, mate, I'm going to try and ruin it.
Dave, you weren't the only one. You
yeah,
see the grot that came my way. I didn't even know Instagram had this stuff. Wow. A lot of midget stuff.
Someone at work mentioned this really attractive gym. It's not very politically correct. A gym female who was a midget. So because he talked about it, I Instagrammed it or TikToked it. Didn't follow it. Absolutely destroyed my algorithm.
Yeah,
and that's
all you get sent.
So because it's destroyed mine, I just want to share the love and I just want to share it on really. But I do find it funny though. You know when you get like a funny reel, then about 6 months later, someone else sends you it. You just think that's still doing the rounds, and how many people must have got that? It's unbelievable.
And it's still funny.
I hate myself for the amount of like reels and TikTok that I've been watching since I've been off.
Yeah,
believe it or not, we didn't really touch on it, but I was a sniper in the army. If you remember me, so I don't know if I told you that I was a sniper in the army.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I was a trained sniper. Believe it or not. And I said to someone the other day, they said, I said, there's no way.
Dave, how did you stay quiet long enough to be a sniper?
I was just about to say that. There's no way I could have passed that job now. I don't know how I done it, because I think I just couldn't not have my phone in my hand or something. I just don't know if I could be in the middle of nowhere with nothing, believe it or not. But we might have to go on to that one. But I don't know. I couldn't do it now, mate.
How did we survive without phones, man?
Yeah, crazy.
Isn't it nuts to see anyone who's not actually doing anything around you now? Everyone's got their head in the phone. People don't seem to be capable to just sit.
A lot of old boys talk about that actually in the fire service. You know, like when you have your downtime, and it's not all downtime, Brucey, but when you had your downtime, normally on a night shift, probably 10, 11 o'clock at night, you'd probably be all around the TV room watching telly, and you have screams of laughter, but very much now, that's what you get. Yeah. All around the room.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I'm guilty for it as well, to be fair, but it's, I don't know. That's what I love about my son getting into the motocross. We haven't talked about that too much, but it's really got him off his PC.
Yeah.
And his head out of his phone and stuff, and he's just wanting to do more outdoorsy stuff now. So
that's good. It's healthy. Until he starts breaking his knee.
Yeah. It's not put him off at all.
Well, I mean, it's part of it, isn't it? You just have to accept that. It's part of it. Yeah. That's the sport you love, and that's a consequence or possible consequence of it. Oh, well. You're young, so you'll mend. It's just when you get crusty like us, things
exactly
and take ages.
He keeps saying, Dad, you're not riding next week. I said, no, my knee's knackered, mate. What about the following week? I went, it'll still be knackered. Oh, really? I said, Tom, I've done a lot of damage, mate. I might be off for ages. Ooh.
Yeah, you just heal so quick, don't you, when you're young? But, oh well. You're also stupid when you're young. Right, Pete Brownsmith. As Sam said, it's good seeing the voice note king of England on the podcast. Top bloke and always good for some banter. The grand old limp fireman, office boy, Dave Ashpole. On the questions, 1. On the off-road and motocross bike scene, 2-stroke or 4-stroke for you, and what has been your best experience of either?
Pete, how are you, mate? I grew up on when I grew up, it was all 2-strokes in the off-road racing scene. About when was it? It would have been 2001, really. You probably started seeing all the manufacturers swapped over to the 4-strokes. They didn't, and kind of sold 4-strokes probably and 2 for quite a while. But now all the factory teams are all 4-stroke racing. KTM are pretty. Pete, I know you'll love this because he's a KTM boy as well, isn't he?
He's an ambassador, is he not, for KTM?
Oh, yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. He is. I just keep saying, when are you buying a GS? And he just laughs at me. But he loves. I know he loves them. It's like being a closet homosexual, isn't it? Just Pete, just admit it. You love BMW. He and Sam's as bad. I've got proof of Sam on YouTube video saying how good the GSA is, and then he hammers me on a voice note saying how awful they are. And it's like, mate, I've got proof of you on YouTube saying how good they are. So, right, back to the question. Because my son's learning to race motocross now, and obviously he's on a 2-stroke, because some of the kids' bikes, the smaller ones, are still 2-stroke.
Right.
And it's very known within the motocross racing scene, if you race motocross, you want to learn your craft on a 2-stroke, really, if you want to be a racer and really go for it. Because if you can tame a 2-stroke, you'll be fine on a 4-stroke. Does that make sense? So if you went and rode a 4-stroke and you were like mega quick and you'd never ever rode a 2-stroke, what you find is you can't swap over to the 2-stroke and be immediately quick. But when you've done it, when you've learnt the other way around, it's quite easy to adapt really quickly. You've really got to race a 2-stroke. You've probably got to be 10% quicker, fitter, and to get the power out of the bike, you are working the power, because you got to hit the power valve and to make sure the revs are up there. And if you're a quicker rider, you probably get a bit more out of a 2-stroke. So I would probably say, even though I grew up in a 2-stroke era, I love a 2-stroke. I love the smell of a 2-stroke. I'm probably a bit more of a 4-stroke lover really now. I love a KTM. I ride a KTM 350. I love it. I love a 4-stroke.
Gotcha. What else did he put here? What's been your best experience of either?
I know what my worst one is, trashing my knee, mate. But
is that the worst one you've done so far, do you think, to date?
Yeah. So 25 years of racing, and it's probably my worst. I broke bones, but they heal quicker. This is obviously going to be a longer, and I'm older, aren't I? So it does seem like it's going to be my worst injury. When I grew up, I won like my local club's 60cc champion of my year. So I was a bit better probably when I was younger, but so that was probably a great experience. But I love the sport more now than probably what I did when I was a kid, really. When I was a kid, it's just something I did. You don't really take it for granted, do you? And now in my latter years, I still race, and some of my mates that I used to race with as kids, we all race together. And when I was racing the other week when I hurt my knee, my mates were all there with their kids and their family and their pet dog. And it's just so I love it for different reasons, but yeah, best experience as a kid was probably winning some like regional racing type thing, and then best experience as an adult, I done the vets. I think you put a picture up, didn't you, of me on the vets? I did a vets race. I did the vets race last year, and I actually got on the podium out of about 50 riders. So I don't know how I don't know how I did it, but that was quite a proud moment for me, because because I don't think I'll get on one again, to be honest with you. So that's not because of the knee. I just think I got lucky on the day, really. But yeah, love it. Love my bikes. Love my motocross.
Fair play. Second question to you both: if a Sunday lunch was your biking garage, from your garage, what bike has been your love it or loathe it, Brussels sprout? And what bike has been your favourite top spud? So, Sunday lunch was your biking garage. From your garage, what bike has been your love it or loathe it Brussels sprout? So, what's been the best, and what's been your worst, and what's been your favourite?
Was that current garage or all my garage? Current garage, is it? All.
I don't know. I mean, is your biking garage is that what's in there at the moment, or your dream garage?
Let's go what's in it at the moment. So I'd probably say my roast potato, did he say?
Your favourite top spud? Yeah,
my top spud. I know people are going to hate it, and people hate it. I'm going to say my BMW GS, because I bought it with 1,000 miles on the clock. It's now got 31. So I called it 30,000 of memories. I've been to south of France, and all the trips I've done abroad with it, with my partner as well, camping on it, ABR on it. So it's just it's a Swiss Army knife, isn't it? So I'd probably say that's my top spud. Controversially, although I love the bike, I'd probably say using my current garage, my Brussels sprout would be my Tuono, believe it or not. Love the bike, but when I bought it, I kind of bought it thinking it was going to be a bit more usable than what it is. I'm not saying it's not usable. On a hot summer's day, I mean, you just stop at one traffic light and all the fans are on, cooking you to death.
Yeah.
And then below 40 mile an hour, probably 40, 50 mile an hour for a new bike, it's very hunty. So you're just a bit like, on the clutch, doing about 4 mpg. But when you get it on the right road, in the right environment, with that V4 singing, it's amazing. But phenomenal. But so I kind of don't care about its flaws really, because I've got the GS and don't really do what I do on it. But what Sam just recently done is Super Duke, and I was hoping to go on the grip and throttle tour to Sardinia, but I don't know if that's in doubt with a knee. But I sat looking at the Tuono the other day thinking, I must use you more. This is before my injury, thinking, I wonder if I could do Sardinia on the Tuono to fall in love with it. And I know I could. And Sam said it, so many of my mates have said it, but because you've got the GS,
it's easy.
It's just easy, mate, and it's not crap either. It's just easy. So I don't know if I'd be like, should have been on the GS. I'd go down that road if I was on the GS, but it's crap on. Do you know what I mean? So I think I'll just stick to having that as the dick bike and the GS for everything else, really. But although it's an amazing bike, I'd say the Brussels sprout would be the Tuono, just because some of its quirkiness, and the top spud would be the best bike in the world, BMW GS, Pete Brownsmith. And we'll happily have you back. Me and Brucey will happily have you back when you decide to come back to the BMW brand.
Nah, fuck him. He's a splitter. He went orange. That's it. I'm going to go against what probably most people are going to say here, but my favourite bike has got to be my Gixxer. It just has to be. You know, that bike changed my life. I've seen amazing things, gone to amazing places, met awesome people through it. It's opened up a whole new way of life to me through that bike. So that's my favourite top spud, which means my GS, my 1300 GS, has to be the Brussels sprout, because I've only got the two in there. And I love the 1300. It's not without issues. It's had quite a lot of issues, just because it was, one of the first in the country. So it's had a lot of updates and things that have had to be fixed, but they've fixed them. And I've spent a lot of money on that bike to get it to where it's at now, which is fucking awesome. Love it. So it's weird calling it a Brussels sprout, but
same with the Tuono, really. But like I said, reality of it is only one can be the top spud, mate, and one's got to be the Brussels sprout.
Yeah. This is where it gets a bit weird, because he says, and lastly, from your garage, what would be your unicorn Yorkshire pudding, the dream bike? We know it's a KTM, of course, Dave. I think he means a dream garage. I think that's what he's talking about. So what would be your dream bike?
I know I love Aprilia. I do love Aprilia. For me, I just love my Ducatis. I have owned one. I owned an 848 briefly, but I do like a Panigale. So I've got to admit that, I'm sure you're familiar, the Panigale Final Edition. Can you remember that one? The 1299 Final Edition with the green stripe. It had a bit of a stunning bike. I've always wanted one of them.
Can't remember.
I do like the, I know Steve Abel's got one, isn't he? What is it? The Ducati Multistrada. It's not a Pikes Peak, is it? Is it the RS?
The RS one, the 38 grand one, or 43 grand, whatever it is.
If I could have a Panigale R on the paddock stand to look at, just to go and look at when I'm feeling down in the garage, that would be fantastic. Maybe a Multistrada RS, if that's what it's RS, something like that would be quite a dream garage. Yeah, nice.
I think if we're just talking about absolutely beautiful dream to look at bike, it would have to be, do you remember the Norton V4, that chrome silver one, the faired one, not the cafe, I know it was an utter bag of shit bike, but to look at was absolutely unbelievable.
That had the Aprilia engine in, didn't it? The V4? It did, didn't it? I'm sure it did.
No idea. Yeah. I just thought it was just totally different to anything else. I just loved the look of it. Yeah. Right, dude, we are at 2 hours, 47 minutes. We've finished Patreon. There are some on Facebook and Instagram. Do you have time to run through?
Yeah, mate. Can I wrap up about 10 o'clock? Because my missus wants to come through with the dog, so we'll have a quick 15-minute fire.
100%. Let's just do quick fire. Let's batter through these questions, yeah?
Yeah,
right,
cool, mate.
Okay, what's happened here? Hang on, sorry. It's just left the question. There we go. Right. So there's only one on Facebook, and it's from Paul Simpson. It's not that Paul Simpson. It's another one. How you doing, Paul? Great to see some how likes a bit of. I think it's someone. I think that's what. Great to see someone likes a bit of dirt on their wheels. So first question: where in the UK is your favourite place to ride, tarmac and off road? Second question: which is your favourite bike to eat? Can't beat a cuppa and cake for me. Those questions apply to you both. Great podcast, Bruce. Great to have you back. Lots of love from North of England adventure bike riders. Cheers, Paul. So, favourite place to ride, tarmac and off road in the UK?
Favourite place to ride, tarmac. Although it's a long way to get there, it's got to be Scotland, isn't it? I've done it. I love Wales, but it's got to be Scotland. I've done Scotland probably about 4 times, NC 500, Mole and the Isle of Skye and all that. And actually, out of the 4 times I've been, probably 3 of them have been beautiful sunshine.
Wow.
And I've got so lucky because people have been the following week and gone, it rained, couldn't see nothing on Applecross. And I've just got lucky and it's been amazing. So and when the weather's like that, all through the Cairngorms and stuff like that, amazing. So that'd probably be my favourite place because you've got the views. Yeah, I hate getting there. It's a slog to get there, but once you're there, it's amazing. So to keep the question short, Scotland for sure. Off-roading, I'm not going to include motocross because there's tracks I hate and tracks I love, but I've only done it a few times. When we went to Yorkshire with Pete English. Yeah. If I lived up north, if I lived further that way, I'd happily relocate, in all honesty, in the future. If I lived kind of that way, I would probably do more green laning.
Okay.
Because purely for the views, though, because I like the green laning, but I don't get my off-road fix like Mark from Leeds might get doing it because I just want to go balls out like I'm on an enduro track or something. That's how I know how to ride off-road. So when I was doing the stuff with you, when we went up with Pete, it was purely the pleasure for me was having a laugh. We had a good laugh on the intercoms and the views were amazing. We stopped for that tea and cake, didn't we, and stuff like that. Yeah. So that off-road would be obviously some form of Yorkshire and round that way. And what I say, was it a bike to eat or something like that?
Yeah, what's your favourite bike to eat?
What, on the bike or just in food in general?
I'm assuming he's meaning when you're out on the bike and you go to a calf. What's your favourite bike to eat?
I just love a burger. I can't think of anything specific in terms of locations. I've been to so many. Some are good, some are fucking awful. But probably, you can't beat a good burger, can you? A good.
What, when you're on the bike?
Oh yeah. Stopping. Yeah, stop. I know you can't, can you? But I'll stop and have a good burger. Yeah, can't beat a good burger.
I'll have to pull over and do what the bear does in the woods.
Your dietary issues.
Yeah.
You got irritable bowel syndrome, mate.
Well, I've been tested for all that and Crohn's disease and all that, and apparently I don't. But there's certainly something not right down there. But never mind. Right, just for that one, Pete. Next, Instagram. So we've got Dave Hughes, a highly interesting career. How did Dave find transitioning from the forces to the fire service, and what were the highs and difficulties? As it's something I will need to face at some point. Now, Dave's military as well.
Oh, good on you, mate. Well, I'll probably say very quickly we'll try and make the answers a little bit quicker. Obviously, get all the information you can before you leave the forces. maybe have one or two options, not just one, because I generally left the army thinking, yeah, I'll get in the fire service, I'll smash the fitness test and stuff like that. And I actually failed the written exams a couple of times. I failed on the English and maths, and I then, which it goes back to trying harder at school, I actually paid for private maths tuition with a teacher to pass, and then I passed it, which was, again, a proud moment. I put the effort in, I passed it. So I'd probably say that just all the research you can to prepare yourself for whatever tests police or the fire or whatever you choose to go into may require of you. What can the military give you? Because I know they do like the resettlement courses and stuff like that. Yeah. And I know it's way better now than what it was in my day. But is there anything they can give you to prepare yourself? What I would say as well, some form of like CV writing course, because now when I applied it wasn't like that, but now it's all CV based, isn't it?
It is. And there are plenty of companies out there who specialise in people that are transitioning from the military, from the fire, from the police to Civvy Street, and they're worth their weight in gold. They really are. Yeah, because they'll identify skills that you have, and you won't in your head think that's a 100%. Skill that can be applied to Civvy Street, but they will word it in a way that is
100%, exactly that. And I've said to before, in fact, ChatGPT is really good, because I said to someone, I'd love to write a CV with all the military and managerial qualifications that I've got in the fire service, but that's just what I've always done, what I grew up doing and what I've been shown, and like an apprenticeship, you've just done it in slow time. So if you said, well, I know some lads that have left the fire service and gone to be managers at like supermarkets, but good money, like managing John Lewis, and I'm like, how? And I laugh and blag, how the hell have you blagged that job, mate? And he's like, well, I've got the managerial qualifications. How? Well, I used to manage 15 firefighters on a fire station. Well, and I'm managing 15 firefighters, 15 lots of resources. Are you with me? And I'm oh, I didn't think that. Oh yeah, I suppose you are really. Yeah. So going back to the question, mate, prepare yourself. Have more than one option. Do your research. What can you get from the military to help you transition, really? And you'll have good and bad days. But especially if you've done a long, I'm guessing he's a real career military person, then he's proper. Yeah, he is. Yeah, proper institutionalized a little bit. But find what you want, mate. When you come out, if you've got hobbies you want to do, and spend time with your partner if you've got one, and go on a holiday that you couldn't go on when you're in the forces, hopefully you'll enjoy the transition, I'd probably say. Yeah. I would say use the time whilst you're still in the military. Use that time to, get a plan together, arm yourself, so to speak, with the skills and the knowledge that you're going to need to move into whatever it is that you're looking at going into. Networking as well, start making these contacts, looking for the contacts within whatever niche it is that you want to move into in Civvy Street. You've got the time. And I was very lucky because I got into the fire service, which I wanted to do, but I know some of my mates struggled massively, and they ended up working in like a warehouse for lorry driving, and end up going back in the forces, doing another 4 or 5 years, and then they come back out again. And because they'd armed themselves better, they actually succeeded a bit better than the next time. But it won't. It won't be easy, and you'll have good and bad days. But hopefully, you've done your time, mate. You deserve to be free. Absolutely. Right, we've got 5 minutes left. Ollie Rye, 90. What's the shortest voice note he's ever done, and why is he buying an electric van? Also, pass on my love to Becky. Cheers, Ollie. Should we clear up this EV thing? Yeah, come on, let's do it. Right, I'm not buying an electric vehicle. Becky's just ordered my partner a PV5 Kia. Don't know if you've seen I'm glad Kia. I don't even know what that is. No, I know, mate. It's a fancy washing machine. No, it's it's the Kia van. It's actually really nice, to be fair. We took it out for a test drive, had it for half a day. Because I drove... It's killing the planet, David. Sorry, mate. I know. For this eco bullshit. I don't. That's definitely not why I bought it. I think the price was right, and it's fairly economical to run. Government grant to buy it, and... To be fair, the price was right as well. It's actually, I'm not going to sit and try and be an EV salesman. It gets a good review. Sounds like he is. But what it was, Bruce, there was a picture of me driving it that Becky posted, and that was it, mate. Ollie and Sam were full attack. full attack. I'm like,
Well
I'm not
deserved.
buying it. Yeah. So,
Sam
hello,
V.
Ollie.
Bike. Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to batter through them. Yeah, hi,
Yeah.
how you doing, Ollie? Hope everything's all right, pal. Sam V. Bikes. I know I asked a question on Patreon, but I just wanted to jump on here too to let Dave know that he's old and boring. Although,
Thanks,
slim
mate.
chance you'll get to Insta questions with his relentless voice notes about his knee and GS. And there's a lot of people laughing at that. What else we got here? R1 Soul, why has he always followed careers where he needs to wear a helmet? Does he like men in uniform, or does he think he's ugly?
R1 Soul, he's a character, isn't he?
Just a bit.
Oh, I love him. He's a funny guy, actually. Really nice guy. I'm hoping if I am at ABR, we'll be having a few beers, Pete.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a character. I like wearing a helmet. Do I think I'm ugly? No, I'm funny and I'm good looking, mate. So
he's modest too.
Yeah, I know Pete fancies me as well because he's told me.
Pete fancies everybody.
Yeah,
He's just a big
is,
man.
Yeah, he is. I know.
Big lump of man love he is.
Yeah, I like men in uniform, especially Mark from Leeds.
What, in his janitor overall?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You like that? Man with a brush.
I like midgets, don't I?
I was going to say special needs midgets, but that would be uncalled for. There's no need for that. Monique Flo, does he do CrossFit? There's a story there.
Oh, Monique, yeah. So she's a good girl. So she was a firefighter on my watch. She's just left the job, actually. She's just left to chase her dream of being an air hostess. So she's gone to work for Virgin Airlines.
Awesome.
She likes travel. She wasn't, again, going back to some of the other stuff, she was never destined to be a career firefighter, but she was good at the job. Mm-hmm. But she just I think she sort of fell into it, like the fitness side of it. We treated her like a queen. We used to call her the girl. So we just go, oh, the girl. But she's a great, lovely girl. Look forward to meeting up with her for a coffee and she can tell me all her adventures about where she's been off to. But she used to do CrossFit and Pilates and stuff like that, Bruce. And because she was so fit, she used to sit there tutting and moaning at everyone eating a bit of cake on the fire station while she had her avocado. And then would say, I've got a great idea. Let's do CrossFit. And we're like, no. So I used to always hammer her about CrossFit. I actually wrote her a song. About how much I hate CrossFit.
You got to sing that, Dave.
No, I'm not singing that, mate.
Send me a voice note. Sing it to me over a voice note.
Oh, so it'll be a long one, mate. There's a lot of verses.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Well, all the best in that, Monique. MJ rides a bike. Ask him why in photo 6 he was able to have his photo taken while the building was still on fire.
Mike, old Mikey boy. I feel like Mike because I don't work now. So because I'm sat at home getting paid, I feel the same as you, Mike. I said to Mike the other day, actually, have you got any tips? Because I've been off for 2 weeks and I'm really bored. And he said 2 weeks is rookie numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a lovely guy as well, Mike. He's a really salt of the earth guy, really nice guy. We take the piss out of him, but we love him dearly. Because the building...
Is he Trumpton as well?
No, he's not Trumpton. He wishes he was Trumpton. I'm probably a poster on his wall. And if you want to use that picture, Mike, I don't care, mate. Do what you want with it.
Laminate it, Mike, at least.
Yeah, make sure, it's not wiped clean, mate. He's... why was I taking a picture? Oh, because I work for the training department now, mate, and they like to take pictures, and I wanted to look cool. That'd be the basic answer.
Nailed it.
Yeah, no.
Last one, 1 minute to 10. Drog 1990. How did you get a motocross helmet to fit that nose?
The only questions I looked at were the Instagram ones, and Monique and him, they're both firefighters, so they probably, as soon as I realised, oh, bollocks, they're on my page, they will hammer me. Have you seen the is it a meme? The guy going around with a big old nose hanging out the helmet. You must have seen that one.
No, I don't think I have.
Oh well, I've had that sent to me a trillion times, mate. I actually didn't. I know I've got quite a big nose. Look, if you get side on,
I'm not saying anything.
I didn't know it was that big until I joined the army. And my first corporal come up to me, and he walked past me and went, fucking hell. Made me stand out in front of everyone. He turned my head and he went, so my nickname was then Gonzo. It was like the size of that hooter. So yeah, I've got a big nose, but
I believe that's known as character building, Dave.
Yeah, it
It's not
suits
bullying.
my face. Yeah, it's not bullying, mate. Next time we meet up, Bruce, and we have a few beers, I'll tell you the stories that I really wanted to tell you on the podcast.
Yeah, definitely. You're on.
Yeah.
Right, dude, that's it. We've done all the questions. We got through
Thank
1
you,
minute
mate.
past 10. Awesome. Good work.
Been a pleasure, buddy. Been a pleasure.
Dude, before we call it quits, is there any shout outs you want to give? Is there anything we not covered that you want to mention, chat about?
I'll tell you what, we'll give a couple of quick shout outs. I'll tell you what, I'll give a shout out to Mad for Bikes. I know Sam does, but great bunch of guys. If you ever want any bike stuff, definitely give them a shout, because they are I think they're quite a sort of small family run business. Mike, lovely guy, but he's helped me a little bit with my son. So my son's doing the racing now.
Nice.
And he's not doing like big sponsorship, but every little helps. So if I've ordered some oil, if that oil's 20 quid and he can get it for 15, I get it for the 15. So it's been fantastic. And he sent me some oil recently, and he threw in some chain lube and bits and bobs like that. So I appreciate everything that he can give me. So if anyone wants to sponsor me and my son for motocross racing, drop me a DM. I'll be grateful.
Happy days. There you go.
And Grip and Throttle, Tommy, because he made us up some racewear, with the t-shirts and stuff.
Yeah, he's doing good kit, isn't he?
Yeah, he does some really nice stuff with his little gift boxes. But he's the salt of the earth guy as well. I love Tommy to bits.
Lovely. Yeah. Do
you know what? I've always been I've always been a bit slow, like with social media. So I remember years ago, I was like, what's all this Facebook crap? And I went on it a couple of years after everyone else, and I sort of got back in touch with all my old military mates and stuff, and it's been great for that. And I like Facebook for that reason. Started the Instagram thing again. I only probably started it about 3 years ago. Really slow on the uptake, but I've probably got me and Sam laugh about. I've got about 800 followers, but I probably would say I try to interact with nearly all of them. And if anyone joins and I'm thinking, who's that? I just delete them. So, but I've met so many wonderful people, Bruce, through Instagram and places like ABR. When you get to meet them in person, it's amazing. I met Mark from Leeds through the Instagram thing, really. Sam, Ollie Ray, Pete. Through Mark, I've met Pete English, Pete Brownsmith, Paul Sparrow, Ashley Wright, all them people, amazing people. And we've got so much in common. R1 Soul, he has me laughing on a daily basis. So I am grateful for that motorbike community.
Yeah.
And obviously, I listen to your podcast. I've met you. It's been brilliant, mate. I love it.
Awesome.
Long may it continue.
When it's used properly, social media is mint, isn't it? It is a really cracking tool. Yeah. When it's used properly, for sure.
So they're my two shout outs, mate. And obviously, just a shout out to you, mate. I think your podcast's great. For years I've been listening to it, doing the old paint and decorating. Thank you, mate. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it, pal.
It's my absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for coming on and sharing more about your life there. It's been really interesting. And
thank you.
Look forward to that beer and hearing all the stories that we can't talk about. Likewise.
I'll definitely come to a clan weekend, mate. I know I am a member. And do you know what? I started paying your Patreon stuff purely because I was always listening to your podcast and I liked what you've done.
Thank you,
I thought,
much appreciated.
and it gives me the option to come to a clan weekend. But the only reason I haven't is I was just so busy with my son, and I said and when you do a more local one, I'll definitely come along, mate. So thank you very much, buddy.
Pleasure. Absolute pleasure.
Cool,
mate, thanks very much for coming on. It's been a great evening. Really enjoyed it. Folks, hope you've enjoyed it too. If you fancy following Dave's socials, I'll put them all down below. You might delete you might not. We'll wait and see.
Send us your phone number and I can send you some voicemails.
Yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, wait till you get the voicemails. Folks, hope you've enjoyed this one. As always, keep doing your thing. Get on out there whenever you can. Look after those that you love. But most importantly, live your
life.
Nice one. Let me stop that.
Smashing, mate. That was great, Bruce.